Yo, maniacs, Hulk Hogan here, the greatest of all time, and my new tag team partner, Campbell Mania brother, is going to run wild this year. Super Bowl, nothing but greatness, nothing but victory. So what you going to do when the Detroit Lions and Campbell Mania runs wild on you, brother? What you going to do?
That's outstanding. That's just perfect. Oh, you're the best. You're the best. Cool, man. Appreciate you, man. Yes, sir. Love you. Great to meet you. Love you.
All right. I never listen. I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the dumb zone.
Answer him.
Not much.
What are you going to do?
Apparently. Not a whole lot.
Nah, Campbell Mania was here. They conquered.
Yeah, I'd say they did.
I'm Dan McDowell.
I'm Jake Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
He's back.
Danny's here, but he will not introduce himself.
Blake's flying high today.
Go on.
The Seguin Cougars? Come on. Nary a struggle for my Argyle Eagles.
What's the information on that, Blake? Or is that in your weekend check?
Yeah, no.
No?
No.
Why? What's
you
wrong?
okay, little buddy?
Yeah, great.
Are you scrambling here?
Yes.
Got a lot going on?
So much.
Well, here you go.
Everybody get those devil horns in the air and give a warm welcome to Danny Heavy Metal Bayless.
How you feeling now?
Good.
No, I wasn't asking you.
I'm awake now.
Thank you.
Yeah, Danny's here as well. We're broadcasting today from high atop my garage. In fact, from what I understand, we may or may not be streaming.
Ooh.
Like live.
Spicy.
On the tube. And, yeah, we're here still because it's just kind of a carryover. Had all the equipment set up last night or yesterday afternoon during the Cowboys game. We were very excited. Aspen Creek in Irving just brought over a ton of food. It was great. They have great food, by the way.
They do. So many options, too.
I've never been to Aspen Creek in Irving, but I will be now. It's awesome.
A lot of places you're like trying to decide where to go. You're going to go out for a nice dinner, maybe have a couple cocktails. You're like, I want pizza. And someone else says, I'd rather have some salmon and shrimp. Like, well, we're at a deadlock here.
It's called an impasse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aspen Creek says.
They got it all.
Oh, wait a minute.
They got it all.
They come out to Irving.
They got your rice and salmon and broccoli. They got your shrimp. They got your steak. They got anything.
Pizza.
So it was cool. It was great. We were all fired up, ready for this big, Jake's back, and we have we had football guest John Hampton, former SMU player, and we're ready to just talk football and break down the game and have a tight contest. And
whoa!
And then it was over by halftime.
Yeah, that's generous. I would say that's generous.
And as Jerry was upset about after the game.
On his birthday?
On his birthday, of all things, they're just, Detroit was just laughing. Like, what if we try this? And then they'd laugh, like, oh, well, it didn't work. Who cares?
Yeah.
We'll just score a different way, and then they would. And
I mean, I
unbelievable.
I referenced this yesterday when we had my brother on the stream because we had him on because he worked for the Saints for a couple years, worked with Dan Campbell very closely. And as we were sitting here swirling down the drain, he was like, how do y'all do this? Like, how do you guys do these streams when the game is over a quarter and a half in? And I remarked to him, Well, I know how I did it because I played at Richland High School. You can't just leave when you're down to, James Battle or whoever Denton Ryan's 5-star quarterback was. Well, they're up by 47 in the second quarter, so then you get to see them just F around. Mm-hmm. At which point you might see a hook and ladder to a tackle.
That scores.
You might see a double pass. You might see flea flickers because they're just having fun. And I'll tease ahead to the audio that Danny pulled for us. The booth was having fun, too.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
They want you to know they're having fun.
Yes. We are friends. We are friends who are laughing and having dinner.
You remember, Dan, in week 1 when we were reviewing the audio from the booth and we kind of focused on the fact that KB wants everyone to know that he and Tom Brady had dinner last night.
That is such a choice.
And that
is a conscious decision
100%.
For sure.
And
yeah.
I was like, okay, Dan's take was he wants the world to know that he and TB are best pals and they have dinner. And my take was by week 6, these dinners aren't going to be happening anymore.
Right. Yeah, they're not friends.
No.
They're not friends. Tom Brady has to pretend like he actually wants to be part of the team with KB, but it's all a ruse. But they were having fun. Why not? Watching a team run for pretty much any amount of yardage they want. The Cowboys' turnovers were all hilarious. That game was over the second that Dak threw that pick in the end zone. It was over right then.
Well, you always have a chance for clutch Dak to show up later. I mean, that's what happened the previous week. Dak threw some really terrible, untimely picks, and but by the end, everybody forgot. You totally forgot because it's like, see the end of that road game, tough situation. Let's get into that in a second. So we were here yesterday with my industrial garbage bag and with a lot of fun.
hand towels.
Are we punting on recycling now?
During the game, it's like, what am I going to do?
I'm fine with it, but I thought you were going to
police.
judge me.
No. I mean, if you just want, I got my recycling bin over here, but,
okay.
You've convinced me that all my effort is being rewarded with 5% of the stuff I throw in the recycling bin is actually getting reused.
I think that's about right, yeah.
Did you ever calculate the price per unit on those goddamn garbage bags? I think it's about $3.50.
On those industrial garbage bags?
Badass,
They're
thick
quite
garbage
pricey.
bags.
What's saving all the beer and meat juice from being on my
Meat juice.
my floor? It's meat juice.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, man, there was nothing worse. And this still probably holds today. I cannot think of another liquid that I want to interact with less than trash juice. Like when I had to take the trash out, and I would always do it barefoot.
And the snail trail of crap that goes to the dumpster.
Yeah, you would hold the bag out, like away from your body and kind of do a Fred Flintstone thing so that it wouldn't get on your feet, but inevitably it would. It's just casserole mixed with wine.
An old
So
rotten
gross.
cucumber that was in the fridge forever. That's the first thing you put when it was a fresh bag, so it's at the very bottom.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
So, we were here, Dan, with big bags.
And the wife, this was not an argument. This was just a discussion that we had yesterday. She's afterwards, she was helping take down some chairs and clean up and everything. As you guys just bolted out the door right away, but she was helping clean up and everything, and then
what else does she do?
It's a fair point, fair counterpoint. But she was up here saying, you know what? Gosh, with all this equipment and everything, she goes,
We should film it.
You should just.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. She's more of the let's close the blinds, turn off all the lights, and never speak of this again. If indeed it ever does happen. She said we should make this into a studio. She goes, it's too homey. She goes, you should transform this into just a studio. And I wonder if that would take the allure away from the Wayne's World basement.
I'm going to have to vote against that.
You would vote against that?
Yeah.
So you like the couch, the pictures of the kids.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's already a lot on you to have what we have up here, and I want it to stay pure for you.
Transform it into a...
Nah, I like to be able to look over and see the Third Reich or Ayn Rand on the shelf and see all the Superman stuff, and I like it. I love it.
Where do I have the Third Reich on the shelf? Why do I get painted like this? If you want to say I like to go look at Superman, well, I've been guilty as charged. There's quite a few Superman things.
The point stands. I like that this feels like we're just hanging out, and I feel like that at our studio as well. But there's something special here,
Okay.
and most of all, people seem to like paying to come here.
Yeah.
It's pretty important.
So let's do a weekend check. It is brought to us by Qualis. QualisGC.com. Is that their website?
I believe so.
I better get that right. All I know is they're Qualis Roofing. They are the guys that put the roof right on this den. They put the roof on our whole house, as a matter of fact, and they were great. So they came over after some of the big hailstorms, and we're like, oh, yeah, insurance will cover this. Then they dealt with the insurance companies. They did all that kind of stuff. Blake, you've talked to them about getting a carport.
Yeah.
Like they can actually do that for you. And they're big listeners. They're big supporters, long time. And they've got a deal where if you just get a roof inspection from them for free, just call them, 817-500-9008. They'll give you a free Dumb Zone T-shirt. And then if they end up putting a roof on your house, they will pay for you to come visit the den here. Or they'll even give you an annual subscription. They're just going to do whatever you want because they're great.
That's right. They don't go halfway. You think you're going to get half a roof, half of a subscription? No, not with Qualis. At QualisGC.com. Good people, man. One of the first people that had us out.
Yeah.
QualisGC.com. They know roofs, not roofies. They're into roofs.
No.
Not roofies. They would never roofie you. That's they stand by that. Mm-hmm. They're like, we will never roofie you.
Right. Now, if your roof is leaking.
So now take the test. See if
have
they
them
do.
out.
See if they do. See if you remember it. I think you will. I think it's going to be great.
Leave one out on the table and see if they start trembling.
Yeah, like they're shaking.
Doubtful. Thank you to Qualis.
All right, weekend check.
I'll go. Brooks turned 3 on Saturday.
I was looking for my invite.
Oh, yeah, I went last year, I think.
Yeah, you both did. Yeah, turn that thing off, don't I?
We're going to fix that, yeah.
So I had a big party over at the house.
That was the party I went to.
Yeah.
That Jake showed up just because he knew I would show up. Or no, he thought I wouldn't show up. That's why
so
he
I
did.
went, and then Dan walked in, and I was like,
Yeah, and then you both immediately left,
well, objective achieved.
knowing that.
Did I bring him a like a Dude Perfect book? Is that where I got?
No,
Yeah.
that was I think it was Goodnight Gorilla, which has turned into one of his favorites.
Okay, that's a great book.
I'm
It
with
is. Yeah, very
Yeah.
solid.
Don't know it.
Oh, it's great. The little mouse just follows everywhere. That's the
Yeah.
one you got to focus in on is the mouse.
Or the balloon.
The balloon, for sure. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Any kind of a monkey book is
He's
a
a
good thing.
cheeky little gorilla, Dan.
So yeah, I probably had 40 people over.
40. He cast the net at 40. And I don't, not so much as an invite.
I would have
See,
loved to be there.
The thing is
I love kids' parties.
we had alcohol there, and I love you too much to surround you
there we
with
go.
something like that. So it was actually out of an abundance of caution, I just decided to not invite you.
And Dan? See, you would have been fine. It's
Too many.
then
too
I-
many moms.
Then
Right.
I can't pick favorites,
Too many young moms.
so I just decided to not invite anybody.
all right.
Too many young moms who would probably want to leave their husbands for me. So I understand why you wouldn't invite me.
Is having a party worth it? Like
No.
having people over and worrying about what the house looks like is it clean and is the yard mowed and manicured?
You got to pay
and
money for things.
And yeah, I mean, I guess the people that come over have fun, but
3-year-old?
yeah,
Did you have to assemble gift bags for his friends that came over?
no, we didn't do that.
We haven't done that either.
Interesting. I wonder if that's changing.
I think it's just maybe when they get older.
It's not. I've gotten them at other places, and
Okay.
it's a nice gesture. But that was
we
it's
might have
all
done
a
something
mom.
small at Nora's deal. I don't remember. But yeah. Now we do have to get them stuff on each other's birthdays.
It's all just a shell game. You're just moving stuff. How about none of us give any presents ever again? Like your dad told
Right.
you
Yeah.
when you were like 8.
I don't know.
You don't need another Nerf football, do you?
It is nice. I don't know. The kids get excited for the gifts, so that was cool. Yeah, it's just exhausting.
Yeah, it sucks. Doing it at home, especially.
Yeah, we may start moving it to somewhere else, but I got a big backyard, so it's just very easy to throw crap out there and let the kids run wild. I would like to apologize to
Thank you.
a Sam's
I've been
employee.
waiting for this.
I had to go pick up the cake on Saturday morning, and I'm not a Sam's guy. Like if I'm gonna,
Bold claim.
and I don't mean anything by that. I'm just like when we shop at Sam's, it's the wife going
Okay.
to do all the bulk stuff. If I need something quick, I'll go to Kroger or something. But I'd never been to the Sam's. I didn't quite. It's it's kind of overwhelming, like when you walk in, because they have 100 TVs set up. It's a massive place. There's people everywhere.
Maybe get a treadmill.
Whatever you need. Yeah.
And an apple?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to buy in bulk.
Oh,
You
you
got to buy
do?
a bunch of them.
You can't buy one banana?
No. So it was already like overwhelming walking in that place.
I mean,
And then didn't quite know what to do at the bakery. Like, hey, I'm here to pick up a cake, but there's no
So
like
you're allowed to buy one cake?
cash register. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm just trying to get in and out of there. Okay? Got a lot of stuff to do. Got some people to pick up. Got to get ice.
Always ice.
And so it was very confusing getting the cake. And then I finally get the cake, and it says on there, like, paid. So I feel like, okay, I'm good to go here. So I get the cake, and then my natural reaction is to just go out of the door I came in.
Oh, newbie.
Apparently.
Yeah, that don't fly.
There's an exit only?
I guess.
Yeah, you gotta check your receipt.
So I park pretty close to the entrance. So I don't know. I'm not thinking. I'm just going to walk to my car. So I go back, and I'm seriously here to that wall from the entrance. And again, the cake says paid. And the employee stops me, says, hey, are you returning the cake? And I'm already in, like, I got no patience for
Right.
today.
Third
I don't.
birthday party
This
mode.
whole birthday party thing,
Yeah.
whatever.
Diddy's in jail.
Yeah, Diddy's in jail.
I don't know if
I
you're-
mean, Argyle whipped up on Seguin. Can they keep the momentum going?
Sure.
We got the stream tomorrow. I got the Cowboys to cover 3. There's no way in hell they are. I just got a lot on my mind.
Yeah.
And I don't need your bullshit.
Yep.
Basically. So I get to the door, and they said, "Are you returning the cake?" And I look at the paid sticker, and it says, "No, I've already paid for it." And they're like, "Oh, okay, you got to go to the exit." And I said, "I can't go out this door right here." And they said, "No, you got to go through the exit."
Yeah.
Well, we're all right here. We're all adults.
Yeah.
You
And I-
clearly know that I paid for it.
And I walked out.
You
the
guys
door.
don't know.
Oh,
You guys, that's a felony.
way to go.
In most, yeah. You guys don't know Sam's Law. Sam's Law is
What
different.
did they do?
Tase you?
I don't know. I kind of just
Stamp his little foot?
I just tried to ignore everything and like I don't know. I feel like after I did it, I did feel bad. They're making minimum wage. I
Right.
get it. I know. I'm sorry. I'm the jerk here.
That guy's hanging
I
on
agree.
to life by a shred.
He wanted
I
to get you
know.
more
And that
steps.
shred is based in the only small piece of authority he has
I know.
over anyone and
I
anything
know
in his
all of
life.
this.
Cucked him.
And you were like,
I
fuck
know it.
that.
But the damn door was right there. It was just right there. Let me walk out of this door. So I don't know. I've been contemplating that all weekend. If I feel bad for the guy.
I'm sorry, Sam's guy.
And I was a big.
He took the Cowboys.
I was a giant dick, and I'm so sorry. But the door's right there, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I paid.
Why
I don't
doesn't
need- I don't-
everyone just do it? I'm sure that'll work
No,
out great.
okay. I thought about this. I didn't need to go through checkout. If I had to go through checkout, then yes, I'll go out that
How
door.
about everyone with a giant cake that says paid on it?
Okay, there can't be very many of us. So I'm sorry, Sam's guy. The door's right there. I was parked right there. I'm very sorry.
Boy, there is a double standard at the receipt check at the Sam's Club or the Walmart, because the one I go to typically is on St. Francis and 30.
You feel like you skate on a little profiling?
Oh, my God. I will watch a brother.
I've noticed that too.
I will watch a brother with a mint
Yeah.
And that's all he's got.
Whoa.
And they will be highlighting it, looking
15
at
cents.
it. And then here comes the ding with his cute white 3-year-old with about $300
You've got an 80-inch flat screen on your on your shoulders carrying it out.
Oh, yeah. And I just roll through, and I've got my receipt, and then they look at me and go, "You good?"
I've definitely seen that happen.
Yeah.
Then played a little softball yesterday morning
How do we
before
do?
the stream. Did okay.
How were the Sox?
I'm just a sub for the fall. I can't commit,
Yeah.
but I'll fill in here and there.
Mash?
You good,
Dingers?
baby.
Yeah, we mashed a little yesterday.
All right.
Yeah. Did you homer?
I did.
How many?
Little Jimmy Jack.
How many are you allowed to hit in a game?
Unlimited.
Oh.
Yeah, this is no
So how many did you hit?
rec league.
Just one. I didn't want to show off too bad, you know.
Yeah. I will deliver my weekend check. Went and got the head shave Saturday. Wanted to look good for that stream.
Yep.
And I think we could all agree.
Star of the show.
Mission accomplished.
Star of the show.
The head looked awesome. Also, I have this situation at the barber shop that I feel comfortable talking about because my regular head shave lady couldn't do the head shave for a while. She was on some kind of medication, so she couldn't use the straight razor. And so I was handed off to Dora.
This is something you might have run into last month.
No, and
I was handed off to
she's my
Dora.
haircut person as well, yeah.
And so Dora's been doing a great job, and I've been consistently going to her for like 3 months. So now it's a weird thing because this other regular head shave lady, Victoria, I've been seeing her for like over a year. And so now when I would go in to see Dora, who does a great job, I feel like I'm cheating on Victoria. But now all of a sudden Victoria is off the medication and it shows she's available for a head shave. But if I go in with Dora, then Victoria, who I've been going to for years, over a year, is like, it's a weird interaction. So what I did was I saw that Dora was actually off this week. So I'm like, I got to go get a head shave with Victoria just to let her know that I still love her.
This is how much he's thinking about this.
So you can see their schedule online when you book
Yeah.
your appointment.
Yeah.
Do you understand that neither one of them give a damn?
But I feel like that Victoria thinks I'm cheating on her when I
She
go with
doesn't.
Dora. And then I feel like if I went to Victoria in front of Dora,
Yep.
that Dora would be like, oh my gosh, I guess I wasn't doing that good of a job. But I
Yeah.
don't want her to think that.
And I had a similar situation.
And so now
yeah.
I will always schedule one of them when I see the other one like already is
He's
booked.
like
They're
tracking
going to talk about it
I will
anyway if
never
they think that's what
ever
they're doing.
schedule a head shave with Dora if I see Victoria is also open in that time slot.
Right.
I can never, or vice versa. I can't do it now.
Yeah.
And then I will tell the other one,
I'm here.
I
thought you were booked
oh,
up
you're
today.
booked. Yeah.
Yeah. It's in both of our heads because I had to do a similar thing where I used Victoria, I had Dora do my hair, and I'm not going to say it was better, but it was definitely great. And then because Victoria wasn't available that day, but I was like, damn, this is pretty good, pretty solid. She had like the one thing she had that the other one didn't is she had like the hair vacuum. That thing is awesome.
What?
You know, the little things mean a lot.
It's like a
hidden
shop
yardage.
vac. It's like a shop vac that, like, when they're done cutting your hair, you got hair all over you.
Yeah,
You got to run it
I
under
hate
water. It sucks. She just ran like basically a shop vac thing over my entire head.
So you didn't have itchy back in your shirt all
No,
day?
and it was
That's
all
good.
off, and I didn't have to rinse my hair.
It gets in your collar.
But of course
Yeah.
it does. And then I felt like, though I can't keep doing this because now it'll be like I'm cheating again. And I just don't like it.
I've been going to the same lady for 15 years.
Yeah.
And there's been times where, I want a haircut. She's not available. Let's go somewhere else. And I've done this probably 15 times over the last
There's a
15
difference
years.
between going somewhere else and
Yep.
going to the lady in the chair next to her.
Okay, that's fair.
Where they, they hen squawk is what they do.
Oh, yeah.
I did, okay.
I don't want to create
I'll say it's adjacent.
problems between
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But I did ask her straight up. Because they always say, well, it looks like you've been cheating on me.
Yeah.
And I've asked her, I go, is that even a thing? Do you guys,
Yeah.
and she goes, we don't care. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they always say they don't care.
Yeah,
I
well-
know women.
Yeah, well,
I know women better than anyone.
well, try not having a great answer prepared for when you go in, and they're like, "Oh, it's been a while. Somebody else cut your hair," and I'm like, Yeah, a friend
My,
did it while I was on vacation.
My gay
a
roommate.
couple weeks vacation.
Yeah. So then I was leaving the barbershop, as I will do at the end of the whole experience.
Yep.
And
Good detail.
or no, actually, it was a guy leaving before I was done, and he yelled out to all the ladies, "Happy Halloween!"
Wait a second. It's like the 14th.
I think it's.
It was the 12th.
I don't think it matters if it's the 29th or 30th or perhaps even the
day of.
31st. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So on October 12th, we're giving out Happy Halloween greetings
Well,
already.
you know that guy's a pain in
And
the
then
ass.
finally, after the game yesterday, we went out to take a little walk with the boys, the dogs. Not the hit television show, The Boys on Amazon Prime, which
Right.
everybody should take part in. The dogs. So me and the wife were walking the dogs and saw one of our neighbors.
Was out there just
and they were
taking
like-
a few cuts in the cage.
He was like, "Hey, oh man, we had a crazy weekend." So that's
Leading statement couple, leading
led
statement
you into
guy.
something. Oh, what happened?
Go ahead.
My sister got arrested in Mexico.
I'm at least interested.
I was like,
Because
okay.
it's not I presume not necessarily a young man.
Has spent 3 days in jail. She's getting out right now. Like, we're going over to my mom and dad's house. They were walking down the street. Their mom and dad lives down the street. And we're going to, whatever, commiserate on that. And I was thinking in my head, oh, man, what'd she do? Get wasted, do something, whatever. Solicitation. No, apparently they were with a bunch of people, and they were leaving on a Friday, I guess. And one of the guys was like, hey, can you take this bag? And one thing led to another as they were getting through customs, everything. Anyway, it had ammunition in it.
How much?
I don't know. Enough to detain you and be in jail all weekend
I think that might be any.
and have to
Yeah,
pay
like a bullet?
like $11,000.
So,
round?
Okay, keep going.
So he's like, you'll never believe though. And I'm like, oh, she had to stay in like overnight. Yeah. She's been there since Friday afternoon. I think it was getting into Mexico. So they were there for a weekend of fun. They got in there like Friday at 2 o'clock, getting through customs, and then as they found this. And then she spends the whole vacation weekend,
Yeah,
which I bet the husband
Well, it kind of reminds me
Kinda had
of like
his own bed.
I heard Corby telling a story about a dude's
Or
trip
not.
he went on in like the last year, where they were going to a guy's, a Corby friend place in Colorado, and the day they got there, that guy had to have like an appendectomy or something. It was
Okay.
something crazy.
Yeah.
And he had to go to the hospital, and they're like, well, we're here. Like, this
Might as
guy's
well
on
still
his
ski.
deathbed or
Yeah.
something. And they just partied at his house for 3 or 4. Like, that's a tough one, man. Your wife is in jail in Mexico,
Yeah.
likely being turned out. Let's just all say it.
Well,
And you're like, well,
so she wasn't because they
do they
gave
have
her own.
margaritas?
She had her own cell, and she is a solo cell for the whole weekend. But it was next to another cell, kind of like you've seen the movies, right? So I guess next to Miggs's cell, for instance. So now the guy in the cell next to her for the whole weekend, who she developed a somewhat of a friendship with, apparently.
It happens.
They were talking. They were talking like deep into the night, apparently.
I love you, baby.
We're gonna have to search this. Rugna Odor.
Which one?
I don't know. I think probably the Ranger. Well, they were both Rangers in the organization, but so
Really?
apparently Rugna Odor was in a cell in Mexico for the whole weekend.
So this was
Now, this is all rumor and hearsay. I am not reporting this to be actual whatever. We don't break any news here. We just wildly speculate. Just in case I could get in trouble for that.
Are you looking up Rugi arrests?
Because all I know is some guy
Yeah.
told me that some guy told him that whatever.
But, like, I don't even know if that would make – I don't know that would even make news, depending on the charge. But, I mean, if you just got –
was it a border town? So this must have happened just like right on the other side of the
I don't
border?
know.
Did they
Well,
fly
no,
in
if
somewhere?
No, they flew in
so
somewhere.
it
I don't
could
know where
be-
they are.
Yeah, and I mean, if you just got picked up for a weekend,
Yeah, it might not.
That might not be.
If he was a current Texas Ranger, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
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 So did she ask him where it all went wrong, or like what did they?
I don't know. You know what? Today
You were never the same. after
Today
you
is
punched
the
Bautista.
anniversary of Bat Flip
Oh,
of the playoff game.
Oh,
when they were throwing bottles
at babies.
At beer at babies.
Yes.
And
What
pouring beer on babies.
What a campaign!
Pouring beer on babies.
That was like one of the greatest baseball afternoons I've ever had.
Incredible.
And I know the
Keone
Rangers
Kella's
lost,
fighting.
but it was an afternoon because I know
Yeah.
I drove home and watched that.
Yeah, that was peak. What a day! Wow. Well, I want you to follow up on that story. I also have a lot of questions about the origin of it. Like, a friend just gave her a bag and said, "Why don't you take this through security for me?"
I don't know. Again, it
That's
was a bunch,
sketch.
they were with a bunch of people. And
I do
she
that
ended
every
up with the
time
bag, so.
someone asks me.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't know him.
Yeah, of course. Hey, I'll do it. Yeah, I don't know that I did. I didn't do that much. Saturday. Do you know Nash Farm, Dan?
Is that near Ball and Wall Park?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it's like a.
You do some pumpkin stuff there.
Yeah, you
sometimes?
can. Yeah,
Just walk around.
It almost like what they had Saturday. They called it like a fall festival.
It's one of the many things that makes Grapevine a down homey type place.
It's very down homey to the
Yeah.
point where what they had on Saturday, it's almost like a Renaissance fair, but for the 1800s. So they had like a little trio of men with like a banjo, and they're dressed all dusty.
Are we talking first half or second half? Because that's pretty
well,
important distinction here in Texas
uh,
as to
there
who
were
was playing what characters.
they did not all the characters were white.
Okay.
And yeah, they're like playing a band. There's a little banjo, guitar, fiddle trio. They're dressed like they're from the old times.
Or they're a bartender in Deep Ellum.
Or they're a bartender. That's true too. They had things you could walk around and do with the kids, like grinding up corn for chickens.
A favorite pastime of
And
my toddler.
they have like high school girls out there, but they're dressed like Petticoat Junction, And they have, this is a good question that I actually should have looked into. They had stilts, and Kristen was like,
Did they have a stilt guy walking around?
"No, that you could use them."
Oh, okay. Because I know downtown Grapevine, they'll always have like stilt Santa.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird stuff.
Well, it's funny because they had 3, I suppose, sets of stilts, and like kids, or I didn't see any adults do it, but I saw like some high school kids do it.
Did you want to?
Oh, I did bad.
Yeah.
But
You're like, God, I just want to see one other adult do it, and I can do it.
yeah, because like there was several kids waiting, and I didn't want to be like, my stilt turn.
Yeah.
And so it just brought about the question, though. Kristen was like, was there ever like a functional purpose for this?
For stilts?
Like, when you would watch like they would do like the games on ESPN where there'd be like barrel rolling. You're like, okay, well maybe there at some point was
Like, did they have a stilt race, or did they have a...
right. Was it just circus entertainment where you're like, well, he's way up there? Like what?
No, that's interesting.
What was ever the point?
What's the origin of stilts?
Yeah, and so I thought about like, was there a farming thing where they could mash things better if they were? I don't know, but
Yeah.
so they had stilts. They had I don't know. You could make toys that I suppose a kid 200 years ago would have been entertained by. Like, here, take this, young child. It's made of yarn and stick.
Yeah.
Like,
Ball on stick?
yeah. Like, oh, yeah.
and
Because that's
ball.
what kids need now
Hoop.
is a 200-year regression in entertainment. Like,
Right.
they already need a VR helmet to be happy. Let's see how this works out. You could, like, pet a goat or a sheep. Basically, it is what I'm telling you is that they're like, what if we tried to entertain kids of 2024 with what they had to deal with in 1852? And let me tell you how long that lasts. Not very. It's just like, oh, hey, here's some corn. Throw it at a chicken. That was it. It was pretty spare.
What's that farm thing in South Dallas?
Bonton
Bontemps? Tim Bontemps' farm?
Farms, yeah.
That's cool. Cool bit.
That's a very cool bit, but they're growing a lot of things they actually give away. It's in a food desert. It's good for the community. So anyways, I did that. Was tasked with the boy, all afternoon on Saturday. Good thing.
Men stuff?
Yeah, I taught him how to weld. showed him
how
a
to
porno.
change the oil.
Yeah, showed him his first gangbang. Like, see, this is teamwork right here.
See how they're communicating?
Same page right there. That's years of practice, my man.
You're gonna want to go first.
Went to 2 different parks, just trying to kill time.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to kill time. Went to Andy's.
You like Par Park? That's a good one.
Par Park solid.
Down there in Colleyville.
Par Park solid. Went to Dove Park.
Sure.
Did I tell you guys about when we went to the water park at Dove Park this summer? I told you guys about how I almost had an altercation with a kid that looked like he was in about 8th grade, maybe 7th grade.
Yeah. Was
They were like,
being
he's
a bit bullyish on the
very
slide
bullish.
or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, to lots of kids. And they were like, yeah. Because, I narked on him. I was like, man, you guys just keep this kid from bullying any other kids. I think it's just, it's the right thing for you to do. And they're like, oh, yeah, him and his crew. They're like, yeah, they're always up here running. They don't listen to anybody. Yeah, it was very, buttercream gang or something,
What?
Yeah, him and his crew, they're a couple troublemakers. Well,
Was there a tiny little guy that looked like a young Polly Walnuts?
right, yeah, he had his bruiser,
Right.
like his muscle. So I hadn't seen that kid in a while because obviously the water park is closed. But I'm at the park, the regular park that's at the water park, that you go to the rest of the year. And I'm, we're doing slides or whatever, and I hear this sound. It sounds like a dirt bike. It's not a dirt bike. It's whatever these assholes are riding now that we've talked about, right? Julie's kid won't learn how to ride a bike because every kid in their neighborhood has a motorbike.
Yeah, I saw one over here.
No, they're
last week.
flourishing in South.
The electric ones?
Yeah, but I feel like there's an
He was pedaling, but he was hauling ass.
Okay.
yeah. I don't know what
It's like a cool
literally
moped.
looks like it but you have handles, you have pedals. Should you be so lazy or lack of laziness at that point to pedal them? But things go fast as hell. And I'm sitting there and I hear the and I look over, same kid, dude. And he's just
wow.
tearing ass through the parking lot as people are walking their 3-year-old through the parking lot. He's weaving in and out of them. Goes over to the field and, spins out.
This is now your nemesis.
Try to create a big cloud of dust
Right.
on the soccer field. And he's just
He's that kid from Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
Or
Kelly.
Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah, like when we left, I legit almost waited. I waited for him to be back in the parking lot so I could walk through and act put upon. He was nowhere near hitting me. In fact,
Right.
he politely stopped at
Man,
a good distance. And I'm trying to bait him like I'm, Branch yesterday on Dak. Like, here, hit me. Come on.
Man, you're so old now.
I know. That was pretty much it, man. We had kid duty the whole time.
Any report from you, Danny?
Dude, just because of the location of where I live, this weekend is basically
Oh,
don't
yes.
leave your house.
I forget.
What's that mean?
Because I live about 5 minutes from the state fair right on I-30. So if I want to do anything that's, going into Dallas, it's just nothing. So I had kid all day Saturday, and my day mirrored yours. I've got to wear this child out.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get him tired enough to go to sleep at night.
And it just ends up wearing me out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's incredible how Malcolm and Carter sound kind of similar in their
High
level.
motor players.
High motor players, big kid energy.
Yeah.
And it starts the moment they wake up, and Malcolm doesn't nap anymore.
Yep.
So it ends now. Thankfully, without the nap, I can get him in bed by 7 o'clock, and I'm walking out by 7:45 after we read books and all that. And it's just so funny how high T that kid can be, and the second the light goes out,
Yeah. No.
he's down. But
Yep.
if you wanted to keep him up for another 3 hours, it'd be like your buddy at 10 o'clock at night that disappears to the bathroom for a bit, and he's ready to go for another 2.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? One thing I did forget on that sort of same front, we had something scheduled while I was away. Some family pictures.
While you're away,
Yeah.
and they did it?
No.
Oh.
They were scheduled ahead of time, but we'd already paid. So we did try to go do that yesterday. It was at the lady who took our wedding pictures 10 years ago. She's still in the game and killing it.
God, I kind of wish that those had gotten taken.
I know.
So later in life,
Right.
Nora's like, Well, why is Daddy?
Well,
that
my-
was the time that Daddy had to go away for a
Yeah,
while.
my idea when I found out about it, I was like, I think Dan still has the fat head of me in a
have
Ranger
the
that we put in the Rangers
big
crowd
cardboard
during
cutout, yeah.
COVID. The cardboard cutout of me in a Rangers jersey. Remember they did that for all the fans?
Oh yeah.
I was like, just throw that in there.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we had to go do that.
Or what if they had me, and then just we could superimpose your head on it when you got back?
Yeah,
Photoshop
perfect.
it, so that you got my
Perfect.
body in
Yeah.
there.
But so we had to go do that. He obviously, the kid ain't fucking with that at all. My daughter loves it. The boy ain't. He's like, what? Like, I got to sit still? This is
Yeah.
insane.
He knows it's gay.
He knows, right. And so a story that had been told to me when I got back, as Kristen was keeping notes of stuff the kids did, she was like, oh, yeah, the boy learned a new word, and he's obsessed with it. And she's
Dash.
like, it's boobies. So he's learned what boobies are. And she's like, the first time he learned it, and he was just plowing his face into my chest, he laughed so hard he threw up.
Whoa.
So yesterday, the only way we could get him to smile, we had to tell the photographer was boobies.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's like, okay. So now this photographer is like, Carter, boobies, and you get him to laugh and smile. Then we went to lunch after that with her parents for her mom's birthday. And
Please tell me you had a busty waitress.
well, what we had was we went out. I'll take him outside mid-meal. If the restaurant has like a little outside area, and usually there's like a
Sure.
people fire type thing pit.
Central Market.
Yeah, so I'll take him outside, just run around for a second. And Dora's blocking the door. She's like, you guys can't come in unless you have the password. Well, at the same time that we're trying to get in, so is a server. And she doesn't know the difference. She's like, nobody can come in until we get the password. And I'm like, babe, no, like there's another person here now. Like we gotta.
It was boobies,
We
right?
just gotta go in. I know what it is.
Oh, okay.
And now the waitress is like, "That's cute. What is it?" I'm like, "It's boobies." And she's like, "What?" And Nora's like, "Yeah, what?"
Really?
Yeah.
So you had to say.
And I'm like,
Love
"Yeah, ma'am, it's boobies." She's like, "Ah ha 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 ha." Probably thought I was a creep. Yeah, and then I watched the Cowboys, Dan.
We can move into that if you want now.
Oh boy! Everybody grabs their computer.
Well, it's
Let's
brought
get-
to us by
let's get focused.
I was going to say Grapevine Ford, just because that's what I'm so used to saying when it comes to Chaz Gilmore, but it's Prosper Ford. He owns both. You can go there. Both places are run the exact same way, perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah. So Chaz opened Prosper Ford. That's at 380 and the Tollway. Dealt with him for over a decade now. Good dude. Great dude. Ask anybody there what it's like to work for Chaz Gilmore. They built 80,000 square feet of sales and service area with 18 acres of new and used vehicles, including one of the largest selections of new Fords in North Texas. So really, head on up there. Tell them you appreciate them supporting our little podcast. And it's Prosper Ford. ProsperFord.com. Or just go up to up the tollway off 380 and find Prosper Ford.
God.
Now we talk Cowboys. There's a lot.
So much.
We've got some KB, TB, EA, and TR audio for you. We've got, I saw you put this in your article this morning, video of how sick the fans are.
It's that ruled.
That was great.
We had can you put this up there, Rob? The Twitter post. Did you guys see the Twitter picture?
I didn't know the stadium had a Twitter account.
Apparently, AT&T Stadium tweets about AT&T Stadium, and they were very proud to tweet how many fans were there.
That's a lot.
93,644.
Oh, my.
But, like if you will tweet out a picture of somebody naked, and then you will pixelate the wiener, and you can't really tell. You could tell that they're naked, but
Yeah.
you can't.
Maybe a license plate.
Yeah.
Japanese porn.
Yeah.
They pixelated the score. So that was as offensive as a wiener.
What the heck?
So everything else
That's right.
crystal clear.
Because they couldn't take it when it was still a game because no one was there yet.
You're right.
Right.
Dallas only has 3. What's the other number? Do you
Oh,
think?
don't worry about
21?
it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh my!
That's
That is awesome.
yes, that's offensive. That's offensive pornography. You can't define it, but you knew it when you see it, and you knew you had to that you had to get that out of here.
That's right. Yeah.
The
That's what it was.
The Lions Twitter account response is pretty funny.
Oh, do tell.
I mean, of course, it made its way around. And the Lions found it and tweeted.
I love this. That this is now a thing.
Twitter accounts.
Yeah, 23-year-old.
Team Twitter accounts.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And they have the little emoji of like the eyeglass, and it says, "Is it us or is the scoreboard a little blurry?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love when brands tweet each other.
Yeah, it was a tough one, man. You had multiple players play one of, if not the worst games of their career. Zach Martin. Once we lose Zach Martin.
Yeah, it may be an epidemic. It may just be spreading around the whole team. Spareness.
Trayvon Diggs.
How about Trayvon Diggs? I guess he was never known as a tackler.
Nah.
But that's a very – they always talk about teams quitting, and
Yeah.
you
Okay.
can't-
You saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not a tackler. All right. Okay, your game is based on the fact that you'll gamble and go get turnovers. You've been pretty good at that. I'll give you that. Pass rush is not getting home, so it's going to be tough to do that. How about, and perhaps this was the coverage call, in which case I need you to hit the override on Mike Zimmer and figure this out. How about from the 10, you don't line up on the goal line?
Was that the one over yeah, that was the
I'm not asking you to tackle. I'm not asking you to get a pick. I'm asking you that when they're lining up,
Let's get
snapping
uptight
from
a
the
little
10, let's perhaps create a little bit of a problem so that they can't immediately throw the ball to the X receiver that you're on.
and now you got 4 easy yards. End up with
Just weird. Gross. No fight. No fight at all.
no fight, and that's where, I don't know what – I mean, we played Dan Campbell audio last week, and you kind of get the feeling they want to run through a wall for that guy.
Wouldn't you?
Dan Quinn kind of exuded that as well, whether it's true or not. And we've just talked about having your readers on the sideline. Does that instill that same, mentality that you just want guys to be clawing each other's eyes out and all that kind of stuff that you got to do?
I mean, yes, but also Mike Zimmer has been the coordinator and coach for some pretty badass, feisty defensive units over the years.
Yeah.
So I think it's more, one, obviously they're banged up heavily, but I don't know that having those guys back helps that much because they weren't stopping the run when they were there. They're just built to play ahead. They're built to be front runners. They're built to dazzle.
So that's what the pass rush and the good secondary is all about. 'Cause
Yeah.
You've got a lead. Now the other team has to throw. That's where this defensive line can really shine.
Yeah.
And by creating some pressure,
Maybe
you
some
make
turnovers.
things better
yeah.
for the secondary.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're constantly behind 17-3, then all of a sudden the other team can just focus on let's pound that ball a little bit, let's eat some clock, and that would then take some of our focus because obviously 47 points looks terrible. In fact, I might have heard this on that, KT and Machota.
1 star?
The One Star Cowboys podcast. I can't remember what it used to be called. Sod.
About them Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's a very, very solid Cowboys show.
Yeah, they used to do like a post-game show the next day, but now they'll do it right away. Anyway, so I like hearing what they have to say. I think they were citing a stat that last year Cowboys points given up at home in 8 games. They're like 5 away from that now in 3 games.
Good God.
Like they've just gotten steamrolled at home every week.
Now, I don't put a ton into the home away thing.
No, they're just getting steamrolled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's cool. It always seemed like an anomaly more than anything when they had a home field advantage. So
Yeah.
significant because you're like, these are front-running fans. They'll sell their tickets to Pittsburgh fans in a second.
Like the way the schedule fell almost,
Yeah. I don't know that running through a bar, restaurant
The
really
TGI Fridays.
psychs you up more for a game.
When
than,
you can stop and get a pizza popper.
Everybody in the stands is staring at the TV in the air. No, but the point is that yes, defense bad must be fixed. But the thought is, okay, this is the offense. Who's the quarterback? The highest paid guy in NFL history. Who's the receiver? The second highest paid, non-quarterback in the NFL. He's, they are putting their money there. And now what we need to see when you do have injuries or when you do have, which they do as well, although we can point back to the offseason and the realization that they're going to have no running game and their receivers besides CD are very much lacking. Let's scheme it up. Let's do something. You're looking over there at Ben Johnson. I realize they're kind of having fun after a while, but also they do some of that stuff to either put a game away. That's what that double reverse flea flicker. They were like, okay, we're up 14. I don't remember the exact score, but it was once they hit that, you were like, oh my gosh, they're pouring it on. They're going to be relentless here. You can do that, or you just got to get back in these games. And maybe you got to go into the game knowing there is no establishing a run. That's not going to work with this team. It was never going to work with this team.
Brady said it, and I almost pulled this clip, but I figured we'd talk about it. He pointed out something that I thought was pretty astute, is this needs to be a pass-first team.
Immediately, from the start.
And I couldn't believe how many when on one of the Zeke series, the number of times he got the ball when they're down as much as they were. And I think also this team they're aware of the writing on the wall about what they're capable of. And this team is so easy to emotionally beat. They do it to themselves. And this happened, I think it was week 4 Baltimore. Two games ago. Pittsburgh was or last.
Giants was in there somewhere, but yeah.
Okay. It was the one that they lost, the most recent loss that they had before yesterday. And the same thing happened. Opening drive, get down the field, looking halfway decent, field goal. Immediately, whoever the other team was responds with a touchdown. They're done. You said this game was over at halftime. I really believe emotionally this game was done for them when it was 7-3.
I mean, the innovation with their offense is running CD as a running back now.
Yeah, right?
Like, that's what they've come up with. And besides that, they're like, well,
incredible.
I guess I'm out of –
Maybe Bones will come up with something, which he did.
Which, hey, the special
tried.
teams looks like the best unit. If all 3 phases need to be in gear, well, they got one.
Yeah, I mean – Danny's point of they know it. They know that they're built. I think if you're just go back to Baltimore and Pittsburgh, whether they've had Super Bowl success recently or not, when you're built the way that they're built physically, I think it's hard for you to walk around like you're a big badass mentally. Like Blake says all the time, like this is the pass rushers they have are feeding off of like the swagger of getting to the quarterback and creating turnovers that's hand in hand or hand in glove with. We're going to create big plays in the passing game. But if you get punched in the mouth by a team that's like, we're just going to run the ball, what are you going to do about it? It's very hard to be small in the game of football and be like, hey, we're a small team with a lot of safeties playing linebackers and undersized defensive linemen and defensive ends that are mostly there to stop the pass and DBs that mostly want to get picks and be like, yeah, now we're badass. We're tough guys. You're not. They're not built that way. And it'll win you a lot of games if it's going right. That's why they had won, ask Stephen Jones, 36 regular season games in 3 years. But the problem for them is that's how they're built. And the NFL is rushing the ball at 4.5 yards an attempt right now league-wide, which is tied for the best mark ever. The attempts are still about the same. But teams, because
everybody's opening it up?
Yeah, because of Mike McDaniel, everything from Shanahan, right? The whole Shanahan offense, the quarterbacks that can run. You're not lining up in the eye or in like far or near pro sets like from you're playing Madden 93. It's different. There's a lot more motion. Everything that you see at college going up to the NFL. The Cowboys offense still looks like an NFL running offense from 10 years ago.
Well, I think that the defenses in the NFL began to gear up for the Chiefs about 5 years ago, because then they wanted to take away all the deep plays, and that's
too high, yeah.
Right.
Always.
So that's why the Shanahan people are doing so well. Is you just got this split in the road. Do you want to stop the long plays like Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, or do you want to stop the run? And they're just kind of caught in no man's land.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. And so they're a very poor tackling team. They get no push up front. And then it starts to look like they're quitting. They're boring, they have no swagger, and they're small. Now they're fast, but I don't know how much that matters if you're getting I put the line in my D Magazine article today that I think maybe we touched on this during the stream yesterday. I think you could have told the Lions before the game that due to some violation, they were prohibited from throwing a single pass yesterday, and they would have won. Like, they averaged over 5 yards a carry, and typically you look at that and you're like, oh, somebody must have broke off like a 50, and maybe someone else had a 29. They had a 19 and a 15. Those are their two longest runs yesterday, and they averaged over 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, but they had almost double figures of runs over 10
or
more.
But those felt like regular.
Yeah, they were.
Those felt like, that's not a chunk play. That's just them running the ball.
So the Cowboys run on first down and a 2nd and 9.
Yeah.
And they run on first down and a 2nd and 8 or 2.
Yeah, 2nd and 2 routinely.
Yeah.
And now the whole playbook is there.
Right.
And to make matters worse for the Cowboys, not to say the Cowboys are conservative on 4th down, but Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson don't give an F about 4th down.
No,
the whole thing is open for them.
He's a gunslinger, man.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell is.
He's the perfect mix right now of the Junction boys and also the nerds,
Right.
He sees all of it.
Yeah, it's really weird how he's done that.
It is great. Now, remember it hurt him in the conference championship game.
It did.
So, I mean, it's fun when it works, but he did get grilled.
He got grilled
for that.
But
he got grilled for the 2-point conversion.
You can't play scared, though.
No, I'm with him 100%. But
his team will never quit on him. I can promise you that. And I don't know that they're quitting on McCarthy, or they just have a collection of players that are kind of.
Well, you know how we were playing that audio,
mode.
And you said, remember he was almost crying and saying, "We're close. We're just close." You can't feel that way about the Cowboys.
No.
They're not. What are you close?
No.
This is what happens when they play good teams.
Dude,
they're not close at all.
I heard KT on their podcast also citing that Soroy stat that he gave us on our show the other day. I don't think I fully computed that when he said it.
Oh, the Dak.
It's against the spread against winning teams. And it's since 2003. And his win percentage is 263rd out of 268. So it's not a small sample. It's over 20 years. Now, the stipulations are kind of tight, but basically you're playing a good team and you're factoring in the difference in opponent, right? The spread, plus or minus whatever. And he has a terrible, terrible record. And we don't talk about that.
No.
He's been freaking feasting on
we
the
talk
NFC
about his
East.
big yardage. We talk about, yeah. And you know what? I mean, that's even a bigger conversation. Because has he ever been thought of as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL?
He's played at a
Absolutely
top 5
not.
level for 1.5 seasons, but he's never been thought of as that. You got to do that.
I mean, I guess last year you could argue he was because he was second in the MVP.
That's what
voting.
I mean.
But you pay a guy $60 million a year. It does take a lot of the cap.
Didn't have to be that way, though.
It didn't have to be that way, but just the allocation that any quarterback that's pretty good starter is going to start at a certain number. It's just kind of like how we've morphed into no one plays in the preseason. It used to be Emmett and Aikman. These are guys that won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. It's like, okay, they don't need to play in the preseason. We know what they got. And so then it kind of trickled down to like, well, any starting quarterback, that would be bad to lose them. They're not going to play either. And that's the way every starting quarterback is not like, there's a few guys. Brady was one. Peyton Manning was one. Aaron Rodgers probably at his peak was one. Quarterbacks that could like actually paying them all the money, you might as well, because they do elevate those around them. You don't have to have 3 all-pro wide receivers.
Right.
You and a tight end and a great you could. Lamar Jackson has kind of proven. All right, he's kind of worth all the money because he is that good. Your team will be as good as he is. Whereas Dak kind of needs everything around him. Well, for a guy like that, you can't just say, well, but we're going to pay you $30 million a year and then spread around because we need a lot around you. You could say it in negotiations, but just kind of the way the world has worked in these.
I mean, there's plenty of examples. They let Tyreek walk. And they have Kelsey, but they let Tyreek walk.
I didn't even mention Mahomes. Obviously,
Aaron Rodgers, he had Devontae, had some good receivers over the years, but they were never a team where you looked at the Packers' skill positions and thought, like, boy, that's great. Okay. The obvious one is Tom Brady. You got skill at times for sure, but they would turn some white kid you'd never heard of into an 800-yard receiver like that.
Breeze.
So
Breeze for sure.
Kind of like
you have good
the whole
players
point
with
is
them, but
even
not,
it's that hard to even find like a competent starter, I suppose. That
there aren't that many Bakers out there.
If you get
dude.
a mid quarterback, you're kind of like the Kirk Cousins thing. Well,
Yeah.
if he hits the market, he's going to get this huge contract, so we got to pay him a huge contract. Because what if we didn't have him? Then we'd be searching for someone at least as good as him.
And to make matters more complicated, he's the quarterback of the Cowboys. So in the same way that, the Cowboys were never going to hire someone like Ben Johnson to be their head coach because he's kind of a hot commodity guy, or Mike McDaniel, or hell, pretty much any of the good coaches in the NFL right now, I don't think the Cowboys would have hired him when they got hired by their team. They wanted a guy you knew of, who'd won a Super Bowl, who looks like football, and Jerry can ride around on his back like he's a horse. And I think that about Dak, too, because he's very marketable. The hardcore fan, I think, still likes him. He's in a lot of commercials. They're not just going to rip off the Band-Aid and say, hey, what about some milquetoast guy like Kirk Cousins? Or Baker's kind of different, but he's very unproven. They're comfortable. They're comfortable putting Dak on a billboard. That absolutely means something for this team.
What if they were the ones that threw a 5th-round pick to the Browns for Baker a couple years ago instead of Trey Lance?
I was going to say, yeah. Well, you got to give it up for Trey Lance, and that's why I think they should lean into the bit and make a very aggressive offer for Devontae Adams.
So I am totally on board with that.
Just do it at this point.
I'm very on board with a couple of things. One is that, or some kind of a personnel shakeup. I don't know what that means, but adding him would be a jolt, and it would make you think of Amari.
Can Dak move well enough to play in a wild-ass football offensive scheme, though? Because
That's true.
That pocket's breaking down real quick.
But it's definitely true, and it's a lot harder, I think, right now to just go acquire a starting lineman. I'm just saying they're only technically a game out of first, even though they're way worse than their record shows. I think you got to do something to just put a jolt into it. Hopefully you get your pass rushers back, and by having Devontae and CD, Dalvin Cook? No, I'm kidding. Maybe that means your offense is good enough to where the pass rushers work out. So, yeah, to your point, do something like that personnel-wise.
Well, that's one.
Yeah.
And two, and I'm not kidding, and it's not about bits. But, yeah. Bill Belichick can play the game of creating the illusion that when you walk in here, things are all about football. There is no one that's ever been better than that, because no one should have ever smelled their own farts more than the New England Patriots. 2 iterations of the Tom Brady career. We've looked at that before. Like, he's had 2 halves of a career
both Hall
that
of
would
Fame.
be both Hall of Fame careers. But both of them were kind of two different little dynasties. And that's a guy that can keep everybody's making all the money here. That is the whole goal. If you're a Dallas Cowboy, you want the marketing money, you want the endorsements, you want that second big contract. If you're Dak, you want the third. And everybody, once they make the money, well, that was the goal. We made the money. Micah Parsons talks about it all the time. I mean, he does lip service to wanting to win, but he wants that big contract. And he's going to get it, too. Somehow Belichick can still instill that you are here for football when you get in this door with me, where I don't think Mike McCarthy carries that. And if there's anyone that could make these guys stand up straight, like you're watching McCarthy lose the team right now.
Yes.
You're watching a team quit in the middle of games. And what's the difference? We're all still getting paid. In the end, we'd probably lose that playoff game immediately anyway. Whatever. There's just no fear. There's no fear in that building because everything is trickled down from Jerry. But even like Parcells did when he was here, Jerry still was Jerry, and they butted heads, but he got this thing back on track, and I think you need something like that.
And I hate to be old man, but it did kind of bother me that the Cowboys are getting hammered and Micah is just cutting it up on the sideline.
It wasn't just him, but yeah. The shot of him and Lawrence was...
And then Trayvon goes over there. I mean, you talked about the players wanting to run through a wall for Dan Campbell. He doesn't allow that, man. And that's not body language we see from good teams. That bothered me. And I don't know if it should. They don't care, so why should you? It's just infuriating.
I think it should bother you. It should. There's something to look. The whole thing is a ruse. The whole thing is a game. We've talked about this before. Yeah, wars are more important than health care and just whatever. Okay, but we're in this game now. We're all playing it, and let's act the part, Romo. When you lose a game, and it's not a big deal. I still got my let's play the part. We're all playing parts here, and it does matter. There's a lot of money on the line for these things. And a lot of people are paying a lot of money to go see them play. And let's just act like we're pissed in front of the cameras. At least do that and then go laugh when you get on the bus or whatever. Let's play our parts here. They're not even doing that. And that's kind of insulting.
It's interesting, too, the way that the whole, media and information landscape has changed now. I missed this when I was gone, but I've gone back and tried to listen to a lot of it. Just Trayvon on Micah's podcast, and they're kind of breaking down the league, and it's great for us. I like knowing what the players think, but it's really hard for me to listen to two players sit there and shoot the shit about Jaden Daniels and what a baller he is, 6 days after Derrick Henry ran for 1,800 yards against them in one game. And they're like, hey, let's sit down with a production company and read some FanDuel ads while we talk about the NFC West or something. It's just weird.
Well, and we played the audio last week. He had Darius Slay on his podcast.
Yeah.
And how about not having Eagle on your podcast
it's
during
a different
the season?
league, yeah. And I don't want to be old man guy either, but it's hard when it looks like there are guys out there who don't care.
They shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I mean, back in the 90s, they definitely all had the radio show and the this and the that, so...
I know, but that's kind of like a 15-minute thing. That's
right. It is different.
You're not.
It is different.
Dan's right. I mean, the podcasts, all that stuff. I think once you're not on camera, whatever. It's just the world we live in. But Dan's right. Somebody needs to be policing that BS of guys laughing when you're getting absolutely trounced.
Who would do it here?
That's the thing.
40 points.
Yeah.
Belichick would.
That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
McCarthy's
he can at least do that.
He's too jolly.
And he will battle Jerry if need be. McCarthy's not battling Jerry. You want to bring back Dak or Zeke? Whatever. We'll work around it. I mean, Jerry. No, at least battle him on it.
Yeah.
Parcells would.
Do you get the feeling
he might lose him, but you'll at least battle?
That needs to be a player thing, man.
What?
Policing that stuff.
Policing yourselves?
That doesn't need to be
Well, then what do we
coach.
have a coach for?
Well,
No, but like think about it.
It all
with
trickles
Garrett,
down, though, man.
But,
Witten
should
would
it be
handle-
a player thing with your leader of your defense? He's the one laughing.
I mean, I don't
That's
think
the one that's supposed to be walking over to other players
that's-
saying, hey,
yes, that's the issue.
wipe that off your face. Where's Dak?
I don't think Lawrence is free on that.
Dak can't talk to them because they don't think Dak is as good as Micah Parsons. So Dak can't police Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons doesn't think Dak's that good.
I mean, in the Garrett era, Witten would do this,
Yeah, he would.
and it worked. They did. Blake's right. It can be a player sometimes, but they don't have that guy right now.
Yeah, the point is,
It might have been Tyron.
they do have that guy, but that guy's over there playing grab ass
Yeah.
with everybody else.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they've got the guy of that talent.
Couple of them. You think D-Law wouldn't be that guy? You think that Parsons wouldn't be that guy? They're the guys that are jacking off.
Yeah.
Because
And Diggs,
McCarthy doesn't instill a vision or an image of hardcore football winning man. He looks like a big Santa Claus over there. That's just another mirror image of what is really cared about. And you talked about that when you first brought up the Cowboys was, it's marketing and it's 93,000 people in our seats and how much money we can make.
That's
and
why
we got a fucking IndyCar race coming. All right.
Oh yeah,
No.
broadcast got into that. That's why I
Dan-
loved having Dan Quinn here.
Yeah. Because at least you had, even if it wasn't real,
Yeah.
it looked kind of good.
Yeah, it felt, hey, maybe a little edge here.
Like you said, it's weird how Dan Campbell is that, but he's also an analytics darling.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah, I mean-
usually you get one or the other.
He's kind of the
You
perfect
get,
coach
Mike
in
Singletary was
2024.
really good at yelling and firing you up, but then he couldn't.
right. Chip Kelly
coach
had
for a
all these
damn.
innovative ideas and everything, but his whole team hated him.
Yeah.
Like really hated him.
Black Sox.
That's right. Making him do the smoothies. Yeah. I don't know how this gets better because even if they get like Parsons and Lawrence yesterday, they still lose that game by 2 touchdowns, maybe more.
I brought a watermelon to practice.
That's the thing. That's why I'm saying,
Get
like,
'em
let's
fired
look at
up.
the offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the defense certainly needs
Here's the thing.
to be better, but the offense has to hang in these games. That's the point. Your defense sucks now. You have to know that.
Yeah, I know.
gotta hang.
And I know that
You got to score, and you got to score a lot.
they're a pass-first team.
So stop establishing the run. Stop this.
They're a pass-first team.
You know
but
what? Have Belichick walk in here and say,
Zeke?
wait, you were on my team last year and you sucked. You're cut immediately.
Yeah.
What does that do to the room? You hire Belichick, and the first thing he does is get rid of Zeke. Because no more friends being on the roster here. What is this 4'2" running? No.
Well, our scouting
I
department
don't care
guy
who
had a
he's
son.
related to.
Oh. It was a cool story. He cried.
He's gone. Like, what do we have? How do I use that? He might say, Trey Lance, man, you're one of my 4 best offensive weapons. I'll figure out how to use you somehow.
Man, when they get down to like 4th and short, it just pains me that he's not an option. Because it couldn't be worse.
Right? Why is Cooper Rush there? He's only there to mop up in one way or another.
Yeah.
So why not have Trey Lance in there and put in a couple of things for him?
So, again, I agree with you on they pass first, agree with the booth, but Dowdle's decent. And they gave him 2 carries in the first half, coming off one of his better games.
That's really weird.
And maybe his
Like, when
best
you
game.
think he's established, yeah.
And
it's his
Zeke ends up
absolute
with
best
more
game.
carries. And he's just terrible, dude.
You were pointing out yesterday the one thing that they told us Zeke could do for the last 5 years. They weren't even having him do that.
No.
It's Lipke now.
In obvious passing
Lipke.
downs for pass protect,
Oh, yeah.
pick up the blitz. Oh, Zeke's great at that.
No.
He's not
No.
even there doing that.
By the way, if Belichick does come in here, Lipke's super safe. That guy plays the game the right way. If you know what I mean.
Is that a lunch pail? Yep, sure is.
But yeah, I mean they'll switch into a Zeke drive, and they'll just run him 4 times, and then hey, it's 3rd and long. Well, hey, look, Lamb and Dak bailed us out. Good, we move the chains. Let's go back to Zeke.
It's almost like Zeke met with McCarthy and said, man, I don't know what I'm doing.
Don't worry, we'll get you the ball.
Well, we're definitely
I've got
going
a
to get
drive
into
plan
that.
for you.
We're definitely going to get into
we'll
that.
take care of you.
Because we said it during the stream yesterday, like, oh, hey, look, it's Clarence Hill, new Cowboys offensive coordinator. Because Zeke has sucked all season. And yesterday, all of a sudden, hey, Let's feed him the rock. Dowdle is a good – you don't even need a 1 and a 2 in the NFL. You just need 2 decent backs. Dowdle could be that guy. Dowdle and Pollard would be fine. Okay, maybe you say Pollard's too expensive.
Dowdle and insert 4th-round draft pick from earlier this year
100%.
would be fine.
100%. Now, you're talking about Dowdle and King Henry. You're elite now. But you don't need that. You could do almost. It would have been
Could have
great.
had King Henry.
It would have been great. But I'm saying they could have gotten by with better without having to pay Derrick Henry. There's a ton of options out there. They just settled on Zeke because they know him, and now they can sell the number 15 jerseys. I think the same thing about Tolbert. Tolbert is improving, and I think he can be a good 3rd wide receiver. But he's not a 2.
Well, let's mention Tolbert and the one big catch he didn't make.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, the sun comes into play.
That was tough. That was really tough.
So is it a matter of, for real, when they first designed it, did they not think where the sun rises and sets? Like they did not.
There are 2 options.
Like, have you ever heard the story about where they put the old San Francisco Giants baseball stadium?
No.
Like when they were first moving out there, the Dodgers had moved out there, and it's like, oh man, somebody else got to go cash in on this. So it was another New York team that moved out there, and apparently they would go look at the site, and it was sunny and beautiful, and they would just check it here and there, and they're building the stadium, and it was great. And then it turns out once they started playing games there, it was like 45 degrees. It was really windy, and it was like the worst conditions in all of baseball. This was their old stadium, not where they play now. Is it Candlestick Park? Did they play? I don't know. The point is, they never went there like in the evening during construction. They never went there at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. They always go like at noon or 2 or whatever. And and you know how the California weather can be.
Especially up there when after that fog rolls in and leaves. It's cold,
Well,
man.
and the wind,
Yeah.
and I guess in San Francisco it's even worse, up north. So, like, it turned into, like, the worst wind swirling, the worst park for hitters, all this kind of stuff. And so same thing, like, with the Cowboys. They never, like, sat and thought, okay, the field will go this way. How will that affect? Where should we? Or did they and say, I love when the sun comes in that window.
That's
Look
what I was
how
going to say.
How it bathes the whole stadium.
As many engineers and smart people that they had working on designing that thing, that point had to have been brought up multiple times.
Like, all you got to do is
to the
kind of
guy
turn
that-
it,
that
and it'll
makes
be on the side, and
Yeah.
it'll never affect you at all.
Yeah, so it's one of those 2 things.
Like, it's
And
right in their eyes.
The reason I'm inclined to believe it's the second thing and that they just really like the way that the pictures look, because you can take some dope pictures from field level there. Like, it looks like football being played in heaven. Is because once they figured out it was a problem, they haven't done anything to address it.
Well, it's doubling down.
So, yeah, I mean,
But they literally
in a way,
do during the World Cup or the soccer games.
during everything else.
They have curtains.
Yeah, they have curtains. So
They can close it off,
Yeah.
and they
So,
just steadfastly refuse to
So,
during a Cowboy
I've
game.
been there to concerts
because of
before
TV?
where the band is playing before the sun goes down, and that's drapes, man.
Or like Danny's saying, it's, again, like a lot of things are, whether it's Trayvon Diggs is like a microcosm for the way they play. It's Jerry, and it's a microcosm for how they are, that he's like, look, I know I screwed this up.
But I can't
He's
admit
like,
it.
but I cannot admit that now because everybody's been hammering me. He's been asked, credit to the fan, dude. I listen to Jerry on their show sometimes. Jerry, and it's also credit to Jerry. They know they can ask him anything. He doesn't care, and they'll do it. I've heard him asked about the curtains, whether it was probably on the ticket before back in the day, and he always gives an answer of like, hey, other teams have to play in it too. And I'm like, yeah, but you have to play like 7 more times in it.
Right.
So, and then I think when he retorts to that with like, yeah, so it's an advantage for us.
When he's in a box, you'll see the curtains.
Yeah, it depends on if Steven's running it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Daddy be turning over in his grave. So that's the thing, is that they know they made that call. But yes, to the point that we were making about, Dowdle's decent but not good enough. Tolbert's decent but not good enough. They're starting 2 rookie offensive linemen. Their play caller feels like he's in a freaking senior citizens or a retirement home right now. The game has passed him so far by.
It feels it feels a lot like the end of Garrett.
It does feel like the end of Garrett. All all of the running
kind of
plays
letting him
look
run
old.
out. We're not firing him. We'll just let the contract run out.
So many routes that run short of the sticks.
Hitches.
You know? Yeah. It's
Which brings the question, what did you expect?
Every writer I see writing about this now, like national guys that I read and follow, are like, their editor will give them the, is it time for Dallas to panic? And most of them are like, the only reason you should be panicking is if you thought this team was like going to be as good or better than last year. Which I'm a fan too, so kind of as a joke, when we're picking divisions and Super Bowls, I'm always going to pick the Cowboys. But how can we spend 3 or 4 straight months being like, it seems like they didn't do anything to get better, and in fact did 6 or 7 things to get worse, and be like,
They took steps back.
they'll
no
probably
doubt.
be better then. Well, no, of course they're not.
I think we bought into a lot of the stuff was the, hey, next guy up is going to have to step up, and a lot of these first and second year
Which
players
does
are now
happen.
second and third year, right? And it has worked kind of well for them. And recent past would say, hey, we drafted a lineman in the first round, kind of later in the first round, and he kind of was ready to step right in. And then that's why we've kind of just assumed, oh, well, that'll kind of work again. And it's, the results are not going to always be the exact same. And that's the thing. But, the results on just letting people walk and not filling their shoes. I mean, they let Zeke walk at first, and then they let elevated Pollard. And it was like, oh, okay. It's actually pretty similar to the end of Zeke, Pollard. Pollard's never as good as Zeke was at his height. But, that's kind of the thought on Dowdle last year.
Yep.
It's like, hey, Dowdle looks okay. And you're right. Dowdle's a great second. Or perhaps with Pollard, a great 1-2. Or fine, not great.
Yeah, you can get by.
But fine. But as the one, and then a significant drop-off after him, that's not good.
No.
And then it's really not good when you're treating the significant drop-off as his peer. As, well, this is kind of the same guy. It's not. It's not at all. That's why, again, first move, if you bring Belichick in,
I love it.
you say you have personnel control over what you're coaching. And he says, well, that guy's gone right now. What does that message send to the team? Now we're here for football.
Yeah. it'd be
Even though
pretty
they're
sweet.
here for sunglasses and marketing and meetings and all that kind of stuff also. And then the helicopter lands on their practice field during
It would
practice.
never land again.
That's the thing. At least let's pretend we're here for football. If Belichick wants music off, it'll be off. And you're just going to play some football.
I just walk up here to the den, and Dan looks like Randy Marsh when the internet was out in the trailer.
The problem here is, with both of you clowns, is I'm right. That would actually be something that could help this season.
I worry.
It would obviously be a great bit, but
yeah, I don't.
sometimes great bits, like Kyrie, can work.
I just don't know the long-term viability of it. But it's not.
That's
like
not what we're here for.
Yeah.
I'm not here to shape the next 10 years of the Cowboys. How about right now? Can this be salvaged? I think it can.
If it would take something like that.
Again, I'm willing to say, you want to take a shot with the Devontae Adams trade? Well, let's do that. Hey, how about something?
I feel like yesterday might have gotten him closer.
And
back in
elevating
the mix.
Dalvin Cook is not the something I'm
No,
talking
he's not even ready to play.
Has
so.
anybody from the Cowboys organization, unbeknownst to anyone else, gotten on the phone or contemplated getting Belichick just on the phone and saying, hey, dude, what would you do if you were here right now?
I bet the back channels have been – I bet that's happened.
And they're
I bet
evaluating
that's
his
happened.
response.
And he's probably evaluating them.
He's already said there's enough talent to win here.
Oh, that's
and
so
that's what he
backhanded.
said publicly. That's what he said publicly.
I love that.
Right. No, that's basically saying I
could
could coach
do it.
this thing.
Yeah.
I could get 30 wins in the next 2 years and pass Don Shula. I'm just throwing it out there.
So horny.
Hey, Ownwell. Let's talk about Ownwell. That is the place that can help you save on your property taxes. You might have already got that bill in the mail for 2024, and you're like, whoa, wait, what? Ownwell, when you hook up with them, Blake's done this, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
actually went to the website. How long does it take to put in your info?
They say sign up is in 3 minutes, and that's pretty damn spot on. Doesn't take very long at all.
How much does it cost to do it?
It is free to sign up, and you only pay if you save money.
There you go.
Wow.
So if they save
Win-win.
you money on your property taxes, instead of you spending hours filing your own property tax appeal and preparing for an in-person hearing, which I have done in the past, which is a complete beating and a losing proposition. I think, what did I
By
get?
a lawyer?
I don't know. We might have got like $100 off. It was like a pity, like, well, you came all the way
Showed
out
up.
here. We're not going to give you anything significant, but we'll just, here's
You literally
$50
lost money
Right.
on your
Yeah.
expenses and time.
and time and all that.
I did my hearing over the phone, and I saved $10 only because they wanted to round down
Right.
to the
Ridiculous.
nearest
Not
big
with
number.
Onwell.
Well, they have tax experts and deep county-level relationships.
How about an 86% hit rate? And for the other 14, oh, what? You're out nothing.
Yep.
They save you an average of $1,148 for all of their customers.
You know, I tell you guys that I always look at the Google review number for any restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm not fooling with anything lower than a 5.5. Or, excuse me, a 4.5. Onwell, 4.7.
Okay.
Wow.
Also, the amount they will take out of your savings is 25%. Everyone else is at 40 or 50%. Do your own research. Check it out. And then you'll go to ownwell.com. Ownwell.com, or you can go to ownwell.com/partner/thedumbzone. Like, there's a fancy landing page with our logo and stuff on it.
Nice.
So, ownwell.com. Thank you, Ownwell. And if you ever want to find all these, oh no, I got it. If you ever want to find all these promo codes we throw out, that is at dumbzone.com as well.
Might be a licensing problem with that, but
No, we're fine.
we'll get to that later.
We're fine.
I think we're doing great. Let's get to a little audio before the break. You want to do that?
Yeah. Now I'm going to let you pick whether you'd rather hear game audio or not game audio.
Yeah, I got some post-game stuff.
What do you got, Blake?
Let's start with McCarthy. You were talking about wanting to run through a wall for Dan Campbell and just instilling confidence and wanting to turn this thing around. And they were asking McCarthy, like, I guess he was just saying, you're not going to win if the turnover margin is -5 in your favor.
It's tough.
And
Romo did it once, though.
Buffalo?
Buffalo.
Night
game.
His response was pretty strange.
Our turnover ratio is as low as I can ever remember it here. So, and that's not who I am as a head coach, and that's not where we invest our time. That's not where we invest. You have to have ROI. I don't care what level of football you play. Football's not going to change. And that's why they call it football. And we're not taking care of the football, and we're definitely not taking it away. So we need to improve there.
It's pretty confusing.
Good point.
That's why they call it football,
Well,
And it's football.
because
that's the thing you need. You got to keep it. Don't want them having it.
What-
And when they have it, you want to get it.
let's dissect this
You want
again.
it.
I want to hear.
I don't care.
You got to have
sorry.
ROI.
I want to hear Coach explain football to a
right.
toddler again.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why they call it football.
What level of football you play. Football's not going to change. And that's why they call it football. And we're not taking care of the football, and we're definitely not taking it away. So we need to improve there.
So the reason they call it football is because it's not going to change.
What?
Doesn't make any sense at all. That's like he's getting freaking airborne Jerry disease.
He is walking the plank, man. All right, the next two.
Yeah, and unlike Dak,
What would you
Yeah.
say?
he's not guaranteed for
No.
next year, the next 5 or whatever.
These next two are from Dak. This one, they were asking him about, is this kind of like the worst start to a season you've had, or the worst and most down you felt about a season? And he brings up a situation that could be fixed, according to Jake.
No, I mean, we've got to get better, simply. And obviously, we're going into the bye week. I mean, we're 3-3, 6 games under us, a long season to go. I've been in worse situations, I guess you can say, in teams, and then got it going. Teams that got on a streak, I think about 2018, it's about us sticking together. And I think after a loss like this, no better time than to test the character of that.
What happened in 2018?
Is
It's
that
Amari.
Oh, they traded for a Raiders receiver.
So it wasn't
and
that we
rallied and
just
made the
kind of had to
playoffs.
get it together, get our stuff together,
No, gave away a first-round pick.
and we had to add a significant talent to the roster
Yeah.
because I need that.
I have a
'Cause I'm
Dak
not-
thing too. If you're done, Blake. You want more?
I've just got one more.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, we did this last week, but the circumstances are eerily similar.
Yeah.
Of
Division still right there.
yeah, and yes. So just do it. And the second thing,
What do you think has more of an impact? Devontae Adams or Belichick? For real?
Just for the rest of this year?
Yeah.
Devontae
Obviously, the next
Adams.
couple years.
I think
2 years.
Devontae.
Devontae?
Yeah. But it's close.
I mean, the Lions doubled CD.
What if you
All
kept
day.
McCarthy as OC?
No.
I'll let Belichick call the plays. McCarthy he's so cooked. Not to say he's a bad coach, but just every week you watch the NFL and it just becomes more and more apparent. Like, there's a different, it's like watching Tom Thibodeau in the NBA. Like, that'll work.
Just a vibe.
But what about these other guys that are reinventing the way that we play offense?
Well, and that was the thought of, we still have the CEO head coach, but now I've got this young, Kellen Moore. Although Kellen Moore never really showed somewhere else that he was this innovative mind. He was young.
Yeah.
But it was also different,
Yeah, I still think I'd take Kellen Moore, but who knows?
Well, they asked Dak what needs to change.
Nick Harris, Fort Worth Star Telegram. There was a clear discrepancy as far as physicality goes between you guys and the Lions. How can you be a more physical football team as the season goes along?
Yeah, we've got to practice harder. Simple as that. You can't turn it on Sundays. I mean, I know I've said that before to the guys. We've just got to reiterate that every day at practice in our preparation. We've got to practice harder, prepare harder, come out here and play harder. And we can't. That's a choice. Coach McCarthy always says at time, physicality and the finish is a choice, and we've got to choose to do it better than the other team.
And so when he said that, I remembered back a couple weeks ago, he was kind of harping on the same thing.
Yeah, the practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I was trying to, who is
Didn't
he
McCarthy say that too? Like,
Yes.
we played as well as we practiced this week.
Yeah. So they're not practicing well, and I was thinking, man, this must be a big deal. And then I remembered,
Nick Harris, Fort Worth Star Telegram.
how about the owner doesn't fly their helicopter and land next to the practice field?
What I heard, and that's
While you're
interesting
practicing.
that's what you took out of that clip. Play the question one more time at the beginning, Blake.
Nick Harris, Fort Worth Star Telegram. There was a clear discrepancy as far as physicality goes between you guys and the Lions. How can you be a more physical football team as the season?
What followed, in my opinion, was Dak word soup.
Yeah.
Because he can't just say, well, fuck, I don't know, dude.
We're not. That ain't
question.
us. That ain't us.
Next
What do
question.
you want?
I don't know.
Look at them. Look at us. My one Dak thing.
But who is that an indictment of?
McCarthy. Wait, which part? His
practice?
answer.
You got to
The
practice harder, and
Players.
Well, who's in charge of the players? I would think it's an indictment of McCarthy.
Well, it's a lot of
and
things,
the
yeah.
team leaders.
It-
Dak.
I think there's a big team leaders problem.
Dez
And
is
now
still
we're
out
taking
there.
Look, Dez was one of the reasons those guys did
That's what I'm
practice
saying.
hard.
Yes.
Is that he would go at people, and they would go at him, and it was.
Yeah,
feisty.
CD's not that guy.
No.
No, he's not.
Mike is not that guy.
God, I really thought
Cavante Turpin isn't that.
Tyron's gone.
Unless-
Not to keep references.
unless-
Zeke is a
Unless
mascot.
you're dating Turpin.
weren't your expectations of Micah to be that guy, kind of?
Yeah, but I always thought he was just a little bit too goofy. And maybe he could still
Also,
get
he's
there.
on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that he's picking fights with Jake Ferguson, whereas Dez would be.
Oh, yeah.
He'd get into it with the defensive backs.
Oh, yeah.
And those guys would have to practice at the level that you actually play games because Dez is a maniac.
Yeah.
And that was one of the good things about Dez.
Yeah.
When you take the bad with the good. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons that. Anyway, the indictment is of either his head coach or himself. because you're the two guys we look to kind of lead this team. And now you're apparently what they're both saying to us all is that, well, they're not listening to us behind closed doors. So now I'm taking it to the podium. I'm going to now say publicly that it's other people's fault but mine. That's basically what McCarthy and Dak have both done when they're ripping the practice effort.
What if, while I'm doing that, I sort of throw a little hand wave in there and do it starts with me?
Right.
Well,
anytime you want to just flame your coworkers, you're like, it's kind of like I used to like. This used to frustrate me. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. Whatever. When we would fuck up, she was like, "Look, I'm just not being hard enough on you guys," and I'm like, "I don't think that's it. Like, I feel like you're being plenty hard enough." That's the McCarthy or Dak move of like, "Look, like we're just." Nobody cares. We're not practicing hard enough. We're soft, and it starts with me. I get it, but nobody cares. Right. I love that.
But he's just saying that. I mean, when we played the Brady clip where Baker said no one had fun with Brady, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know this was daycare. I didn't know this was Disneyland."
Yeah,
like that. That's a guy that'll. I don't get on you, and we don't. The guys at the top are not like that. And the worst part, you just paid them all, and you're about to pay Micah, so you're going to be stuck with this same cancerous group for a while.
Dak was asked about the McCarthy future, and he gave a Dak answer. That's my guy. Everybody in there will go to war with him. It's not really worth playing, but it's exactly what you think it was. I thought the very beginning of his press conference was interesting because on the first drive, obviously, they kicked a field goal. The second drive, they drove down. I think they had a 3rd and 5 from the 7, maybe. That's when he threw the pick. So they were moving the ball a little bit, but I think I had a different review of the opening 2 drives than he did.
Dak, how do you explain that performance? Can you talk about your play today?
Yeah, I mean, start off first 2 drives. Felt great. Go down, get a field goal. Second drive, feel good as well. Get down there. Anticipated a little too much, a little too early. Guy made a great play, initially driving on the flat. He's got the flat in man. Threw it early with the 0 blitz. Was protected, however. Let it hang a little bit. Guy comes off of that. Makes a great catch. Can't turn the ball over in the red zone. And then from there.
Robot. I'm a robot.
Didn't
I'm
feel like there
saying
was really
things
another
that I've been
positive
programmed
play,
to say.
after that for us to build off of, to get anything going, and very frustrating.
Okay, so.
Sorry, I talked.
No, you're right. It was all there.
It's just like he kept saying things that you say.
The first drive, they had a nice big chunk play on the on the CD one-handed catch. 27 yards. Got upfield, right?
Yes.
Which was after, I believe, what should have been an interception.
That was a couple plays later.
Okay, my bad.
No, actually, you're right. It was the second play was the should have been an interception. The third play was CD. The second play was when he rifled one to Ferguson that was completely covered, bounced off of his hands into Dowdo, who happened to be just standing there and able to keep running. That was not a successful play in any way other than the result, which was luck. So that should have been setting up a 3rd and 9 right there because that was on 2nd and 9. They get the big gain to CD. He threw a pick. Now, there was a holding, and maybe the holding is why the pick happened, but just noting that. Then they had 1st and 10 from the 18, and they kicked the field goal from the 16. Like, you got points, but I don't know that I'm like, as he said, first 2 drives, feeling great. You know, it looked like who was feeling great was the Lions.
Yeah.
When on their first drive, they were like, how about we do this in 6 plays? How about we do this in 7 plays? And we just ram it right down your throat. Like, would that be cool? No, it's 5 plays. They went 70 yards in 5 plays in 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go up 7-3. Dallas gets the ball back. Hey, first 2 drives, we're feeling great. They did move the ball decently. They picked up a penalty on a defensive holding when Dak was sacked. Again, maybe the holding caused the sack, but take it for what it's worth. They had a 1st and 10 at the 28. Zeke ran for 1 yard, then Zeke ran for 3 yards, and now, lo and behold, it's 3rd and 6. Holy shit, Turpin picks it up with a 12-yard gain. Now it's 1st and 10 at the 12, and they throw a pick on 3rd and 5 from the 7. Like, that's not great right up until the interception. It's not like, well, if I don't throw that pick on 3rd and 5, if that ball were incomplete on 3rd and 5 and it wasn't a pick, they just would have kicked another field goal on 4th and 5 from the 7. And so now they are down 7-6, and his assessment of those first 2 drives is, we're cooking.
I'm ripping
We're
it.
feeling great. I'm like, no, it's pulling teeth for you guys to pick up a first down because it's 3rd and 6 all the time and nobody can get open unless it clangs off someone's helmet. And you're like, holy shit, the ball fell in my hands.
God forbid, score a touchdown rather than a field goal when you're down within the 20.
I just can't with them right now, boys. You want to keep going with audio, or you want to drain some veins?
I want to drain some veins. I also want to tell you about Sean Kernan.
Scene.
The great scene.
That is the great
Sit-in
scene.
scene.
Sit-in scene with 360 Wealth Management, DallasFinancialPlanner.net. They are best at helping people who have accumulated meaningful savings, are looking to delegate their investment management. Are you good at your own investment management, Jake?
I know nothing about investment or management, so no.
You want to be open to sharing your whole financial picture and that you want to develop a long-term relationship with your advisor. That, we would like to say, is Seen, or Sean, which I guess most people call him Sean Kernan. 360 Wealth Management. He will come to you if you need it. His office is in Southlake. He is there to help you with your long-term goals, and he is independent. Owns his own practice. No one is the boss of him except for you. And he says also the compliance people who could put me out of business on a whim if they joke about moosing or the Chisholm Trail. But he won't do that.
No.
But yeah, go to the
He says he'll
website.
come to you also, by the way. Did you already say that?
I did.
Oh, my bad.
That's all right, though.
I didn't
think
notice
that's
that
an
last
important
time on
enough
the
point.
copy.
I think it's an important enough point to point out again.
I legit need that from just about everybody who's going to help me with anything.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
Can you just stop by here? Maybe we can meet in
He
the middle?
will absolutely do that. Then he'll zoom in with you if you need him to do that.
Is it one of his copy points that he's not going to die anytime soon?
I believe it is.
I love
Listen,
that one.
Pretty confident.
Yeah. That's the kind of confidence you need when it comes to your portfolio right there.
Yeah, it's 360 Wealth Management, and it's DallasFinancialPlanner.net. Go look at the website, man. Look at the picture of people there, and they're smiling and stuff.
He's a guy that I would trust. Just
Don't you hate going to
implicitly.
those financial planner websites and everybody's like all downtrodden?
I know, right? Yeah,
They're
guys.
holding the cup, begging for change.
Yeah.
No. These people, look how happy and wealthy they look.
You could smell him through the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you get with Sean.
Yeah. All right, for our YouTube streamers, live streamers, we're going to take a few minutes break here. Otherwise, we'll be back quite shortly.
It starts from the first phone call. Most of the time, you're going to talk to Gene Burkett, a 30-year partner. You're not going to talk to some employee that just got put on the phones that day.
There are things that are so crucial, especially if it's a cataclysmic event, to have our experts get out and look at the vehicle, witness statements, photos, the whole thing.
Call Frankel first. Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frankel first.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
All right. Veins have drained and stuff.
All right, how many is this, Dan?
What do you mean? How many fingers are you holding up?
Yep.
3. 0.
That's going to be the record of your Dallas Stars. The goaltending right now, guys.
Should we just get into that?
No Wedgwood, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, but we saw the importance of having a second tendy you can go to, right? And that's what they did last night. Shut out the Kraken, Casey DeSmith. Boom.
Tendy.
I thought we were
Yeah.
we were fully appropriate.
Aren't you guys sports bros?
Are we on Tendy?
He learned that watching SportsCenter for a month.
Yeah.
Remember those two jackwagons that are coming up with new lingo?
Did you wake up and watch?
Utah pulls the tendy. No, I didn't watch Stephen A. or Get Up this morning, but I did see when I was pulling audio on my little side recommended thing, because they know me so well, a clip called Stephen A. crashes Get Up show to gloat about the Cowboys. So that's happening. I don't know. don't really have
They
anything
are-
else
oh,
on
no.
it.
They are trying to do sports radio stuff, aren't they?
They really are. That's what I was saying. It really has turned into that.
Interesting.
All they have to do now is sue Stephen A.
Today is Stephen A's birthday.
Thank you, Blake. Oh, is it? Good for him.
Yeah, the day after Jerry's birthday. How about that?
It's pretty cool, man.
And yesterday was Quincy Carter's birthday, of course. And a friend of his is a listener of ours, and they said that they got a hold of him. He has changed his number, and he's willing to join us.
Really?
I was given his number, so
Okay.
All right.
we can book him for the very vague near future.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need to know what Quincy Carter's thinking these days, I guess. Do you want to do the Michael Irvin piece of audio first before we do Jerry?
Yeah, a part of my recommended when I fired up YouTube was Michael Irvin has a YouTube channel now.
Yes. Okay.
Jump on board.
So I
So
saw
many are following us.
I saw Michael Irvin responds to 38-point loss to the Lions, and
Yes.
I got time.
Okay.
So he wasn't as mad as I thought, but the way he ended it was hilarious to me. So here's the last minute of his
they're
show.
talking about how the hell they're going to fix this problem. I hope that we're not.
I don't know where
talking
he
about
is.
He's in a bathroom
where
of a
the hell they're
gym.
gonna be hanging out and doing next weekend.
The glare on his glasses.
Because that's exactly what they play like. I know you hear all them deans. I'm sure everybody texting and tweeting in right now trying to say, Negro, y'all got drones.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yes, we did. I'm not answering any of that shit. They can beep all day. Won't get me. And I may even call in to work tomorrow with that thing they call the COVID.
That's fantastic.
The thing they call the COVID. And
Yeah,
it just
stops.
stops.
I don't have a clue.
Get me. And I may even call in to work tomorrow with that thing they call the COVID.
The COVID.
Man, there's a lot there.
That's great.
For the audio-only crowd. Yeah, obviously the music sounds like he's at a club.
Yeah.
But
Or
Maybe
his-
the bathroom of a club?
or the bathroom of his house.
But that looked like see, I think he's at home. I think he's having a party.
Yeah.
Because that looked like a
That
real
makes sense. Cowboy party.
Yeah.
Here, let's.
that looked like
I
a
better
real
fire up some YouTube right now.
The quality of the
It's
video
some
is
ETs,
amazing.
you know.
Sure. A couple Lone Stars. The quality of the video is amazing. In the background there are like pillows. But you know, I know some clubs are gonna be the
I
lounge
hope
type
they're
feel.
talking about how the hell
But the
they're going to
computer
fix this
glare on his
problem.
glasses
Yeah.
is like
Okay,
covering
we're
up his
not talking
right
about-
eye.
He looks different too.
Looks thin.
He looks great.
He looks
does.
great, and
Because
I'm not saying
that's exactly what they play like. I know you hear all them deans. I'm sure
All right.
everybody
I don't know. Hold on, real quick. I don't.
right now trying to say,
I don't fault anybody for
Negro, y'all
what
got drones.
they use to get skinny. I think Michael Irvin is probably just working out.
Uh-huh.
But you know about the
Ozempic?
the Ozempic epidemic.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw Newey, bruh?
Really?
Did he Ozempic it?
To your previous thoughts,
Yeah, he looks
that,
good.
that Newey had eaten the phone.
Yeah.
That Newey threw up a Newey.
Yeah.
And you can tell because if you watch his show, they still show an open package where he's fat Newey. So you can see it very side by side. Newey is skinny now, and I don't think that happens without a little nudge.
Like his entire body type has changed.
Very much so. Yeah.
That's cool. I support him
In what
Cool,
way?
man.
in all of his endeavors, past and future.
How do you support him?
So, remember, we're on Fox. We're not on Fox, but our studios downtown are at the Fox 4 studios. And because we do DZTV. So please check that out if you can find it.
DVR it.
Yeah, and apparently if you had set the DVR for Dumb Zone on Channel 27 in the past, They've like officially changed the name, and they didn't keep it the Dumb Zone 2. So you now have to resubscribe to DZTV.
A small price to pay.
There we are. We're rebranding. Maybe DZTV is what will be in the future. But nobody can really tell. So, I mean, if I had a time machine, I would go forward a few years just to find out what we're calling ourselves and then back. Like I had a one-time use. That's what I would use it for.
I'd sign Derrick Henry.
But that's what I would do. So
sorry, Europe, you're on your own.
But part of our relationship with them, we're putting a show on their TV. They're hooking us up with some studio space. It all seems to be great. But what else is great is sometimes they get some behind-the-scenes audio and video that we can't get. The only recording I could find of this elsewhere was pretty difficult to understand. But Jeff Kolb is always on the case down there after those games. They got a camera guy as well. Maybe a lady. Who knows?
They're doing all sorts of stuff now.
Can women record video? It's undetermined, but if they can, certainly Fox 4 would,
up and down.
Would not hesitate.
Vertically.
Yeah, it's like a phone. Yeah, anyway, we got some behind-the-scenes audio/video from them. So let's go to Jerry. This is about 5 minutes. We can pause it if we wish. But we're going to talk changes because he was intimating. So he did probably about a 15-minute post-game thing down in the bowels of the stadium before he goes into the locker room to entertain his friends. Jerry's not happy, but no one asked him about the sun. That's my one note for all the media. Would like to hear a little something about the curtains. But I'm sure we've done it 100 times. We know what he's going to say. But same thing. It's another big, tough loss at home. And he's kind of intimating something's got to change. Something. And that's where we pick it up here.
What kind of changes, if any, would you be open to considering?
I don't know about which changes, what changes, but obviously we've got to come in with a different demeanor. We've got to come in with different execution. We've got to come in with different approach. Certainly if we were going to play Detroit again, but we've got to do that in general. We've done some good things this year, but we've had a lot of things which is football. You have a lot of things that you can work on better. I think it was just the feeling of the team having fun at our expense. Detroit having fun at our expense.
The team is having fun at our expense.
As you probably all know, the Fords are some of my favorite folks. There are, period, not just in the National Football League.
The owners of the...
Yeah,
and
sure.
So if that was going to happen on a personal basis to me, I think I'd rather have it at their hands than anybody. Of course, their coach is a guy that we think a lot of around here as well. They've done a heck of a job, and boy, did we pay them.
So what he's saying is if someone has to be kicking our ass so bad that they're like laughing about it on the field, like they're doing reverses or throw it to the big man or whatever, the hook and ladder thing they did.
Yeah.
Hook and lateral. I don't know what you call it.
I think both are okay.
I'd want it to be the Fords.
You couldn't find a better team to
coached
beat
by
my
Dan
ass.
Campbell. So they're like laughing when the official calls it back because of a very slight infraction. They're even laughing on the field like, well, it doesn't matter. We'll just score a different way. If any team can pull our pants down and embarrass us like that, I'm glad it's the Fords. Okay.
That's so bad.
Price for it out here today. And while they've been doing a heck of a job, we haven't done a good job. So we've got to address that and recognize that. That's what happened.
You talk about changes be restricted to personnel and not coaching at this point.
Well, I don't know that. I know that automatically says, well, what are you going to change? Maybe change would be just try harder, bear down harder.
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna do
add
that
another
tonight.
30 minutes. Add another push. I'm not ready to talk about changes or those kinds of things right now. I do think that we've got personnel out there, especially on the offensive side of the ball, on a game like this, that can play better than we played today. Detroit had a lot to do with it.
Pause it. So,
hell yeah.
What are we analyzing here? So what we have is one change we can make is to try harder.
Push. Add 30 minutes.
Add 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But this is inevitable after when I pay everybody as much as I'm paying them on the. That's why he pointed out the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I haven't paid Micah just yet, and we got a lot of injuries. But I had two of the highest paid guys in the entire league out there. So, yeah, 9 points ain't going to do it. That's what's got to change. And maybe they have to practice 30 more minutes. I don't know. Maybe they have to be at training camp. I don't know. The point is that, let's just bear down.
Maybe they play in the preseason a little.
Maybe they play in the preseason. All right, sorry. Let's keep going.
Right now, I do think that we've got personnel out there, especially on the offensive side of the ball, on a game like this that can play better than we played today. Detroit had a lot to do with it. Our holes in our defense had a lot to do with that.
That means
That's
the coaching isn't
complementary
using
part
that.
of it. Let me say this. What you're listening to is a family member talking. You're not looking at somebody on the outside packing his bags and leaving. So the address here will be from within, with each other, have each other's backs. We're well aware of the climate out here right now about our team. We're going to have to work through this.
Is the head coach something that you're evaluating during this bit?
No.
Detroit is
No.
clearly one of the top teams in the NFC. How can you is there a change that can be made to make a 38-point deficit drawing closer if you were to play?
I'd start right there. I wouldn't use the word barely one of the top teams on Detroit anymore, if you're in my shoes. They are far cry from being barely one of the tops. I think they are very possibly one of the tops. I think Baltimore is a top team. We've had the good fortune of playing both of them out
New
here.
Orleans.
What about New Orleans?
We can't play better in any phase. We can't play like that in any phase and be where our fans want us to be and where I want us to be.
Do you believe your roster has the talent to be one of those top teams as it's assembled right now?
I do.
Why?
I just do.
Good question, Jeff.
How disappointing is it?
Pause it.
Hey.
So,
He just does.
why? I just do. Just feel it. Do you believe the roster? So clearly, we're trying to set him up, and he's doing a good job of it.
Yeah.
I think on offense, we could be playing better. We could be playing better today. Not like we could be playing better if I made a trade or if I would have signed Derrick Henry, blah, 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 kept Tyron Smith, whatever. We could be playing better right now. That's throwing it at McCarthy. And, yes, there clearly he was great reporting there. What, is that Jeff Kolb?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think your offense right now
You have the talent.
have the talent? And
Oh, yeah. Why?
we're all leading to the big question. But okay, let's keep going.
The talent to be one of those top teams as it's assembled right now?
I do.
Why?
I just do. Period.
Jerry,
Hey,
that keeps happening.
what was that? Yep. Okay.
It keeps happening at home. You know, I guess 4 straight, but 3 this season. How disappointing is that it's happening?
Very.
You know, at your
That's
where
great.
you had a home field advantage for a while.
Very, very. We all know you should feel better at home. I think that is an advantage. You don't travel, sleep in your own bed.
No, you don't. You go to a hotel.
It should be an advantage at home, and that's one of the first things you look at. Okay, how come we're not playing better when we've got the advantage against the other team? We get to wake up in the morning and are in familiar territory. All that's stuff to think about.
What if he
But,
doesn't know they stay in a
generally
hotel
speaking,
before
I
the
think
game?
my message is I know you don't need to hear me say this, but I'm well aware that we're in the proverbial right now.
Jerry,
Okay.
what would it take you to evaluate making a head coaching change in season?
Oh, I haven't even considered that. I'm not considering that. Just so you're clear, I'm
But-
not considering that.
but you've done it
Don't
once
I
before.
wouldn't be a hypothetical in that matter. Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you?
No.
Okay, well, I'm not going hypothetical with you about when I'd consider coaching change in light of the timing we're sitting here with. I'm not at all.
Okay.
Pause it. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's Jeff Kolb right there.
That's talking out both sides of his mouth. I'm not considering it, but even if I was,
I wouldn't tell you.
I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Right.
But maybe I am. You
Right.
figure it out.
No, he's absolutely considering it. He's considering all options right this second. And you better. What happened to Jerry of the offseason of I got to keep the fire under these guys
that's a good point.
I got Dan Quinn here. Who knows? I mean, I'm bringing another head coach. They could be the.
We forget that Rich Eisen interview or whoever it was where he's like, yeah, I mean, I tell Dan all the time, like maybe someday it's you.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden it's.
That's interesting.
Yeah, dude. Maybe that's a tell on when he's really considering it. He's saying, I'm not considering it.
Yeah.
And when he's not considering, he's saying, because that was all, even later he admitted, that was a smokescreen.
Yeah.
I was just doing that to throw everybody off. I'm Jerry. I love being on First Take. I love doing all that. I love ESPN.
Yeah. And again, I'm not sure how well that actually helps to motivate a coach, but what about when you do that with your quarterback? And when you do it, you end up having no money to sign free agents in the offseason because you were doing some sort of
that might be part of the plan, too, because
at
that
ruse.
time we didn't have money to sign free agents. Now we do, but darn it. You just can't
that's
do
tough.
That now, man.
Yeah, that's as bad as it gets. You think I'm an idiot? Here, I'm going to play you a little bit of this. It's Jerry's birthday yesterday.
Is there more of that, Dan? Or is that it?
That's about it. That's good. I wanted to end on the
I'm
Jeff
an
Cobb
idiot?
high there. Yeah.
Play a little bit of this for you that someone sent me. The Fox NFL pregame yesterday. There was Fox and Jerry go hand in hand, right? Dating back to when Fox got the NFL. That's a Jerry thing. He's real tight. Jimmy's up there. Terry Bradshaw's up there, local guy. No one loves Jerry more than the Fox crew in the TV world. So they had him on the field early in the morning when the game was they're out putting stuff on the field to talk birthday with Jerry.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Well, guys, I'll tell you, I'm proud to be here. It's a birthday day, Jimmy, and I kind of remember us walking in this place almost 35, 36 years ago. And so I don't know about you, but I'm not going to let this old man in.
That's a song. That's good.
Good song.
Hey, Jerry, you and I go way, way back, and I know you know how to win. You know, back at Arkansas, we were part of an undefeated national championship team, a great football team. We're great friends back then. We won a couple of Super Bowls together, so we.
Don't you just love this too, by the way?
We're kind of revising history here.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Understand that?
I think you hated him until he threw you in that Ring of Honor last
500
year.
coaches or whatever it is.
He did limit it to we were good friends back then.
That's true.
Yeah.
And really, the last 3 years, you have won a bunch of games in the regular season. Do you think when you get your injured stars back on the field, that'll give you the boost to have some playoff success?
He's on for a birthday fluff interview.
And that's the big reason that I went ahead and extended Dak Prescott. And candidly, that's the reason that we made Lamb one of the highest paid players in the game.
What was the question?
The question is, do you think when healthy, like you get these guys back,
that you're a contender. So
right.
that's why we signed CD. And otherwise, we'd let them walk?
Yeah, because at one point they were healthy and he felt like they had a strong roster.
And I just wanted to play that part in particular to go with your point, Dan, of like that didn't really answer the question, but he just wanted to remind everybody that he just paid Dak and CD.
Yeah.
Like, every chance he can get, he's going to mention that now.
Oh, my God.
Here's a little bit of the end of it.
We'll be able to score some points.
Hey, Jerry, you got all those injuries on defense. Michael Strahan, Howie Long here. You're a deal maker. What do you give me for them? Just for one afternoon.
Well, I'll tell you this, Strahan and Howie came in here. We were doing this great celebration for Jimmy, naming the stadium after him, if you will. But candidly, we were down here.
That's a subtle shot also. Like, Jesus, what are we going to do next? Name the stadium after the guy? Why not? It's all him. It's all.
And we were down at halftime, and the next thing I know, Howie's talking about how all this confusion's going on the sideline. Well, hell, Howie, we brought them in so that we could make a big show for Jimmy while you're down there. So
having fun.
Boy, they're just laughing at everything.
It was an amazing day, I can tell you that.
It was. Well, we got to say.
I'll tell you that.
What?
Well, Jerry, we know it's your 82nd birthday today. You said that early. We want to wish you a very happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
And so on behalf of Fox Sports,
and a happy
we got
Halloween.
a little something for you to celebrate, my friend. Happy birthday, Jerry, from everybody here at Fox Sports.
Happy birthday, Honor.
Happy birthday,
Well,
Jerry.
First of all, this is very special. Let me tell you about Rowdy. I had to find Rowdy out with his truck one night, and he was in the.
Okay, I think.
What is
he's
happening?
He's about to tell the story again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't watch the very
Thanks
end
for
of
joining.
it. Let me see. I thought it was a cake. Yeah, it's just a Cowboys cake.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a Cowboys cake. You may not be familiar with the story of Rowdy
and Trump.
Trucks.
Oh, trucks. I thought he said Trump.
In a press
Where's this
conference
going?
before this year, I think it must have camp last year, whatever. He started talking about Rowdy and would they ever give somebody the number 0 because Overshown wore 0,
Yes.
and he's like, well, that's Rowdy's number. He's like, but then again, we've seen the Rowdy van in a couple places where he wasn't supposed to be. And we were like, what the hell does that mean? And somebody hit us up and was like, dude, I know the guy who used to be Rowdy, and he went to a strip club.
In the Rowdy truck.
the Rowdy van?
Not as Rowdy.
No, but he was in the van, though, and it was parked outside of one of those Northwest Highway strip clubs. And Jerry's just joking around about it. He was like, I know what Rowdy's doing with those super soakers.
It's a good thing I'm not Rowdy.
So Rowdy runs out of water. Rowdy runs out a cake, and this is,
Find Rowdy out with his truck one night, and he was in the wrong place in one of these bars. And he's supposed to be out here doing birthday parties. I brought him into the office and corrected him. He said, you know what? I'll talk to Rowdy about it. So, Rowdy, don't you give me that Rowdy stuff anymore.
All right, thank you so much,
Do you
Jerry.
know,
Happy birthday.
the more we
Enjoy
hear
it.
that story, do you know how funny Jerry thought it was when someone told him about that?
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't care at all.
100%.
Boss,
Of course
we
he's at a strip club.
got a situation. He's like, what happened? He's
The
used
Rowdy
to,
mobile
he's
was
used to the
spotted at
the cocaine
the
of
Spearmint
the
Rhino.
player cocaine, naked chicks in a hotel room,
Right.
a murder.
This was the
scissor
lightest
stabbing
thing that could have been.
And they're like, it's Rowdy, and he's like, he's a pedo, isn't he? I knew it. And they're like, no, I parked the Rowdy SUV outside of Ecstasy, and he's like, fuck yeah. Rowdy,
My
all right.
man.
Yeah. So then things were downhill for Jerry from there yesterday.
Let's do some viewer mail brought to you by.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
That's right, Lone Star Beer and Lone Star Light. They don't want you to forget Lone Star Light.
Lone Star Light was the official drink of the Brooks birthday party on Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yep.
They were doing pretty well at the watching party yesterday
That's one way to get them to go to sleep.
as well. Well, yeah, no, I don't know if you're supposed to give it to the baby, but I'm not your dad or anything.
I'm just fact checking.
They are perfect. Lone Star Beer, perfect with the tray of barbecue. They're just Texas. 140 years of brewing in Texas. Authentically Texan, crisp flavor. The national beer of Texas. Go check out, wherever you buy your beer, they're going to have Lone Star and Lone Star Light. And they actually have awesome merch. If you go to their website, LoneStarBeer.com, and use the code DUMBZone21, you can get 21% off merchandise. Must be 21 or over to purchase. You don't have to be exactly 21 to purchase. That would really limit their the ability to sell merch, I would think, if only 21-year-olds could buy it. So they're like, you know what, we're not going to do that. That's the difference between Lone Star Beer and your other beers. Other beers would probably only sell it to one age. Lone Star Beer is like anyone 21 or over. So we really appreciate Lone Star Beer and their sponsorship of this little program. We now move on to this.
Hey everybody!
And then we'll do
It's
some
time
news.
to answer
We've
some
been
of
going a long
today's
time
viewer
today.
mail.
It's a big show.
That's not what she said, because I don't go a long time. It's really fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Talk more about that.
Like the girl. I said that's what she's.
Mm-hmm.
These are all birthdays. I have 4. Dear Senor Slit Spitter.
Okay.
Oh, Splitter.
Jesus.
That's different. Splitter. I've split the slit, not spit.
What a need.
Anyway, the 13th was my Tom
Horizons, Dan.
My Tom Rathman ball hog times the number of Jake Rehab stints birthday. So Tom Rathman.
Don't make me a factor in these equations.
Why do I always feel like the need to get out my calculator before viewer mail?
My leaders are Dan's Powerwall, Jake's 70-mile-per-hour two-seamer,
right,
and all of the stamps on Blake's passport.
One? Is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
I tried to get you a new listener by playing the podcast
yes.
for my wife. It didn't go great.
You don't need her.
After 30 minutes, she asked if we could listen to something else. That is why I am writing it for my own birthday wish, and it's also going to lead to a moosing for her this evening. That's from Davis.
Get what you deserve, lady.
Dear Johnny Gash and Slim Kargashian.
I like that.
That's Jake, he says.
I like that.
Saturday is my Italian fiancée Jackie's 32nd birthday.
Hot.
Let's see. I think since Jake is a new man, he should renew his vows live on the Dumb Zone when you hit 9K.
Yeah.
9K? Why don't we do them both at 10K, and I'll renew my vows on mushrooms.
Oh, I'm going to need the Cameo video for this one. He says, I've attached an old video I sent Jake when I was proud of him for being promoted to a host. I'm proud of him again for going to the Hab. So this might be good to revisit now that you don't have to bleep out so much of it. Anyway, this is from Darren Pope. He sent us...
the great Darren Pope.
Jake Kemp, what's going on? It's the real Coach JB here, man. Listen, I know you're a radio personality down in Dallas, 1310 The Ticket. I know you're promoted, man, to a full-time host after many years of grinding. Hey, sometimes the sacrifice is worth the stretch, man, and the reward outweighs the risk, you know what I mean? And sometimes you got to sacrifice, man. You know, shit. I worked for free for 15 fucking years, man. I don't feel sorry for these fucks.
Feels like this is not about me anymore.
Say that they tried to do it for a year and didn't get no money. Kudos to you for weighing this thing out and waiting it out and letting your career end up becoming a letting your job become a fucking career, man. Let me put it that way.
Coach.
Congratulations, man, and don't be a fucking slapdick on the radio. If you ever need a real fucking personality, you know who to call, and maybe I'll boost your fucking ratings from slapdick or fuckstick to shitbird or slapdick again. You know, we all want to try to be slapdicks. Don't be a fuckstick or a shitbird, but I'll get your shit some ratings. This is the real Coach JB here, man. Again, congratulations. Out.
Thanks, Coach.
Now, who is that?
What a gift.
That is one of the a coach that was featured on one of the seasons of Last Chance U, and he was probably the one that did the most with it afterward.
Jason Brown?
Jason Brown. He was a coach.
Been on our show.
He was the one that didn't... Yeah, he's been on our show for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he was the
Super
one that
Bowl.
didn't game plan because he just feels it.
I believe he said I'm somewhat of a savant.
Doesn't watch film.
As he was in a pop-up hot tub with a cigar.
Right.
And as you will remember, Dan, ultimately was fired. He produced, for sure, produced some results. But he was fired after one of the threats that he made to a German recruit was prepare to meet your new Hitler. And the kid looked around and was like, well, I don't see any extremely successful state planning. Also, like, doesn't that, like, analogy only work if the kid's Jewish? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Hitler got the Germans in line and all marching and, like...
Yeah, but they loved him. Okay, so maybe you're right.
You know, yeah. You'd want to... Yeah, you don't want to be... That would mean you're off the team.
Yeah, very much so.
No. You wouldn't want to do that. I mean, you probably want to stay away from whoever you're talking to.
Yeah.
I mean, he found out. Anyway, that's why he's on Cameo.
Yep.
Hello, Slit Sorcerer. Today is my 46th birthday. I want to say F the jersey number bit.
Okay.
More of most things, less of some things from Ryan.
That's a good email.
Yeah.
And finally, Dear Uncle Fallopian Filler.
I think we have a leader.
That's a good one.
It's pretty good.
Today is loyal dumb F Kelly Snyder's birthday. Her leaders are Dan's Black Shoes, Jake's Leftist Viewpoints, and men playing in women's sports. She would like to request more WNBA and NWSL talk. Peace and love from Luis. You know
Our
Luis.
Luis?
Our Luis.
BBB Luis?
His dad
Stoked on eclipses?
Goes and travels across the world.
Luis, stoked on ladies flag football?
Yeah, good dude.
By the way, I said this on the stream yesterday, but the boys took another L in my absence yesterday. So they have now lost twice this season, both games I missed, and one in the 75 prior. I'm not saying.
But you're saying.
But I'm saying.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
So here's a story that probably maybe doesn't have a whole lot for Dan. I'm just going to tell you. But I missed this over the weekend. Danny made me aware of it. I know it probably does something for Rob and old Blake, but Garth Brooks has been accused of rape.
Oh, no.
I did hear about that on the TC and Jorts podcast.
That's where I learned about it, too, and I also learned that that's Jorts' favorite artist of all time.
Dude.
And he was talking about this case and was almost brought to tears on if it were true, how sad it would make him feel about Garth.
He's up there for me. He's definitely up there for me.
Why?
Garth?
I guess I don't know anything about him.
Why?
That's why. I mean, I prefaced the story.
Do you like Chris Gaines?
No, I didn't like that at all. Not at all. Didn't get it. Well, I got what he was trying to do, and I hated it.
I just couldn't get past the album cover. I don't think I listened to one song.
He's a weird cat, for sure.
Yeah.
Great videos.
Yeah, and that was it.
Oh, yeah. The one about just a boy or something?
No, are you thinking of Don't Take the Girl?
Yeah.
No.
That's not
Standing
him.
Outside the Fire
Yes.
is the one that... Can we play it or no?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's allowed on the tube. Although maybe we do it on a stream or something. But
yeah, we could do it on a live
stream. It's a video for the song Standing Outside the Fire, which the whole point of it
That's
is
what the Special Olympics one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You ever seen that video, Danny? So the whole
Possibly.
thing,
You
it doesn't
gotta
make
see
any
it.
sense why,
Let's break it down
It
on
was
the
the
stream.
90s.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Okay, I think we can do that. But, yeah,
I don't
it's
know
we'll figure it out. But the point is, standing outside the fire, you got to get in there. Don't be too afraid to get burned.
Yep.
You got to jump in. And also, this was a time where we had different views about, the entertainment value of mentally handicapped kids. And so there's this mentally handicapped kid who wants to run track. And so he's practicing and he's falling and he's not doing very well. And his dad's clearly like, you suck, you're retarded. And the mom is still working with him. And then they get to the day of the meet. For some reason, Garth Brooks is in the stands and he's singing the lyrics to the song
with a headset microphone.
And at some points, he's playing out in front of the school. And in those shots, the school's on fire. Don't know. But the kid is running track and he falls. And it's a bad fall, and it's slow mo, and he's got Down syndrome.
Yeah,
and he falls, and it's bad. He's bloody. Okay. He's real bloody, and the dad comes over. Now the dad's like, "I see my son trying. I'm not ashamed of him anymore." And he helps him up, and they limp to the finish line.
What does this have to do with a fire?
Yeah, and how does that get you into the fire?
Well, because you're trying.
Oh.
The point is you can't just stand outside the
so
fire. Get in the ring.
He used to be mad because he sucked.
Yeah, but then he finally realized, you know what, my son's at least trying.
Okay.
But
does the dad know that his son is mentally challenged?
It'd be pretty tough to miss.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you know what? I don't care.
Well, he wasn't.
Your dad's initially.
Was it a Special Olympics race, or was he racing against
I feel like he was racing against
regular. Okay.
Regular.
Sorry, I don't know the word.
They call them normies.
Yeah.
Normies.
Unspecial.
The dad's a dick initially forever.
For sure.
Even, riding the kid's ass.
Yeah,
and
it's sort of a weird deal where it also was the 90s, so everybody was divorced. They kind of have Garth there as this is what your dad should be.
Oh.
And he's hot and stuff, and he's like, Garth's life is not okay. So
you know how you said unspecial, and we're all like, it's PC. Have you heard people instead of saying suey, they'll say unalived?
Mm-hmm.
That's a joke, though.
Nuh-uh. Apparently, I learned this. I can't remember where I learned this. Maybe from one of my kids. That on TikTok, they'll flag it and take it down if the word suicide is said.
Really?
So that's why everybody has started saying unalived. Made yourself unalived. And you can say that and it won't get flagged and take it down. But if you even say the word suicide,
Even if you're just mixing up a tasty concoction of sodas.
That's right. Right.
Root beer, orange, Coke, Mr. Pibb.
Who doesn't love a suicide?
Yeah, my our concession stand got woke in like 1997.
And did what?
Said we're not calling it that anymore.
Oh, I don't remember our concession stand ever like having a sign.
Well, it didn't have a sign, but if you walked up and said, "I'll take a medium suicide," Ricky knew what to pour you.
Oh, and they won't even respond to that?
No. What they did was they were like, "We don't call it that anymore."
Well, what did they come up with?
It was something super lame that
Yeah.
sounded like it had been created by Dare or something.
Well, that went through my mind a couple of weeks ago because I asked Malcolm, I go, "Do you want a juice?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "We got orange, grape, or apple?" And he goes, "I want a mix of all of them."
Hell yeah.
And I go, "Oh, you want?" Yeah, I don't need to explain this to a 3-year-old.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is after our youth association changed the name, none of my classmates killed themselves in high school.
Fixed it.
All you have to do is stop saying it.
Garth Brooks accused of rape.
And he also did the Red Strokes. Do you remember that music video? He's dressed in all white. The room is white piano.
Yeah, and he's like at a piano. Yeah,
and then just blood. Starts.
He definitely
pouring
thinks of
from the
himself
ceiling.
as like an auteur. You
Right,
know?
right,
Whereas
yeah,
like
yeah.
George Strait was a cowboy.
Yeah.
They're very different. Oh,
God.
yeah.
Yes.
Damn it.
That looks
Yeah, I
like
don't-
Woody Harrelson. Yeah. So he was accused, and he took a somewhat.
He looks like
Here,
he's-
let's not watch it and comment because
We
it
don't know.
won't make any sense if we're not playing.
That's true. That's true.
So he actually publicly named her. That's something you don't
Wait,
usually
who, what?
do. Garth has publicly named the woman who accused him of
She
raping
wanted
a
to be
lawsuit,
a Jane Doe.
Jane Doe, and he's like, "Nah, this is a shakedown, and I'm putting your name out there," which is an interesting move.
It's a strategy.
Yeah.
Name?
Her name is. It was right here. You can figure it out.
Okay.
We don't need it. She's probably hot.
She probably is, but maybe this news story actually didn't include it.
I have not seen a
that's
news story that
interesting.
has
Yeah.
included it.
Yeah, that's
Out of the
not surprising,
two that
I
I've
guess,
read.
to me that he would say it. But yes, I would think all news organizations would say we don't do that. Although, like Twitter treats itself as open.
Yeah, that's true.
With strings.
Of course, he's married to Trisha Yearwood. She put out another.
Is this current? You know,
Like how
something
long
else I
ago
heard?
did it happen?
On Flagrant,
Yeah.
they cut out every time Trump said rape because he was talking about abortion, and he said, "Well, it's
in cases
in
of
cases of rape, it's okay," but they cut that out. And Akash said it was because of
YouTube.
That's like a YouTube thing. Now, do they monetize YouTube and we just don't?
They
or-
definitely do.
All right. Like,
So
that's
the
not gonna
allegation is that it
get us
happened
picked off, is it?
in 2019. So she's a hair and makeup stylist who worked with his wife Trisha Yearwood starting in 1999. Started working for Garth in 2017. Her lawsuit says that he arred her in a Los Angeles. I want money too in a Los Angeles hotel room.
Unconsensual sex tour.
There you go. Back in 2019, and that he exposed his genitals to her many other times. Talks about sexual fantasies with her and sent her sexually explicit text messages. He says, "I trust the system. I do not fear the truth, and I'm." This part right here sounds like a country song. I trust the system. I do not fear the truth, and I am not the man they have painted me to be.
Did he say? Are they saying it was consensual, like he had sex, or no?
No, he's not.
Because you don't want to be having sex behind your famous wife's back.
Yeah, and it's her friend too.
Yeah.
They're not saying that at all. This
Although
is not
that's
like
like the
a
hottest person you'll
the
ever
Dak,
meet.
You know, the Dak thing. I think they kind of had to say like it happened, but it was
Such forbidden fruit.
yeah.
Because you have a famous wife, and it's her friend.
One day in 2019, Roe went to Brooks' house to do his hair and makeup and was horrified to see that Brooks had just come out of the shower naked with an erection. He grabbed her hands and forced him onto his erect penis. Brooks appallingly told Miss Rowe that he had fantasized about this moment and wanted her to perform oral Grex on him.
So you drawn the line there.
He wanted her to.
I'm going to say Grex.
I feel like
he just said penis like
he's
three times.
He put his hands on his
erect penis. He was hard.
Yeah.
I feel like
Grex.
in that moment, Blake, what he needed was for her to be a friend in low places.
Jesus.
Right?
All right, fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And perhaps he needed to wait until the evening because she ain't going down till the sun comes up.
Wow. This guy's on fire.
Okay.
Boom, bitch!
I think you could keep going.
Looks like what she's doing now is giving him head.
I guess I'm not familiar with that.
I haven't heard that song.
Yeah.
What she's doing.
Did you just
now.
Google Garth Brooks songs? You did, didn't you?
You think he's just rattling off from memory?
Oh, he said it's his favorite artist.
I know all these
He
songs
doesn't know
for
any
sure.
of the songs.
Ain't
Fake.
going down till the sun comes
Yeah,
up.
Fake
jam.
country fan.
If tomorrow
He's never liked country
never comes, I will.
What's the one? The one
That was
song-
good too. Let's be honest.
That was pretty good. What's the one song that was? Is it called Thunder Rolls? And it's about the spouse that's getting abused, and then she
Also,
turns the tables and kills her abuser.
Banger of a video.
Yeah. I remember that one.
He's out like late, and it's raining and lightning and thundering, and she's at home with like a revolver.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's like coming in all drunk, and he's like, what's going on? And then he kills her, or she kills him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that sounds like a good song.
It's a great video. Anyways.
He's got his place. Well, good luck with all that, Garth.
Yep. A woman in Fort Worth, or excuse me, this one in Northwest Dallas, has admitted to setting a fire at a trailer park. That fire killed a man, but more importantly, 3 dogs.
Oh, no.
I think I'd rather be homeless person dog than trailer park dog. Feels like there's more adventure with all the same bad stuff.
I don't think.
Okay, so they're both bad.
I'm not saying all trailer parks are bad, but I'm just saying based on my cops experience. I mean, I've had friends that lived in, a park, but this is the type where that somebody sets it on fire. There's like meth people live there sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. I don't imagine being
dog seems really embarrassing.
A homeless person is largely a nomadic experience where you're seeing the sights of America.
Yeah, I might have oversold that a little bit.
I don't know.
Excitement. You're solving crimes.
Eating somewhere different every day. Meeting new people.
Get to know the locals. That's probably true. Homeless guy, though, loves his dog, man. It's going to be tough to find an owner that loves you more than that.
Yeah.
Till he needs another hit and he trades you.
For some crack.
But he's providing. He's saying you're worth something.
Like you don't even have a real leash. It's like a rope.
Oh yeah, if that. If that. So the woman was arrested.
Don't have to go for grooming and your shots. Don't have to worry about all that. That's cool.
Yeah, but you're itching all the time.
Nails are always trimmed because of all the pavement walking.
Just an auto petty.
Uh-huh.
Oh, look, I'm filed down.
Boy, Dan loves homeless humor.
More homeless dog humor. That's a niche.
I feel like that's like the top risk of living in trailer park is fire.
Well,
tornado seems good.
Yeah, tornado might weigh in.
That's true too.
Or is that just very publicized?
Yeah, I mean it definitely is, but I don't know. I think that seems like there's. I'll generalize and say that a lot of times there's going to be unstable people in there, and they leave something on, pass out, and when those things go, they go.
And typically,
cooking meth.
Unless you're retired and you have an RV, your house. The concept is your home is on wheels, which means you're always ready to get out of a situation at any time.
Yeah, and you've thought about that. You've
I've
thought
lived
about
that life
yeah,
for a
yeah.
long time.
You're thinking like, look, if I got to get up and go, as Javier once said, I'll
Got a
get
go
up and
bag.
go. Yeah, that was interesting. There were a couple people at the Hab that knew a lot about meth, and they were like, yeah, people don't make it in like the suburbs at all anymore. Either like they knew people whose houses had blown up. But the RV thing, that's a real thing, for sure.
Cooking in an RV?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Breaking Bad did their research.
Did life imitate art or art imitate life?
I think in that case it might have been art imitates life, but I think the show was properly sourced. Let's see here. You know what? That's probably enough for today.
All right.
We watched the. Here,
the Garth video
I'm gonna issue this statement. I haven't been to Deep Ellum in a while. I don't think I'm ever going back, unless it's a weeknight.
Weeknights are great.
Dude, did you see the Dodge Charger video this weekend?
Oh yeah, the dueling Chargers
played it on
crashing
the
into
stream
each other.
yesterday. But yeah, it's just it's just mayhem. Now it was Texas OU weekend.
Uh-huh.
It was Friday night, but like, do you guys ever have like fights?
We gunshots on Elm Street. I mean, some guy was all emptying clips
for fun.
I mean, there's usually a beef, but yeah, it's the Wild West on the weekends. It's all cyclical. It's been like this now for about
20 years,
3 or 4 years.
Oh yeah, I just mean the cycle. Yeah,
yeah, and so it'll get to a point where it'll change. People stop going down there. Rent will become cheap again, and then the whole thing. You know, it's about a 20 to 25 year deal. But,
well, anyways,
yeah, I don't go down there.
Go Dallas. There's your news.
The Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
Hey, tell us about Frankel and Frankel.
Well, I do know this, that they'll tell you exactly what you need to do, or rather they're going to tell you let us handle it when you get into a car accident. If you are involved in an auto accident, you need to call 214 or 817, and then just hit the threes until you hear Mark, you hear Gene. They hop on the phone, and they're like, hey, we got you. You know why? We used to work for the insurance companies. We know their nasty, dirty tricks. And they'll take care of you. It's a huge beating. I think that's one thing, too, when you get in a car accident, you just kind of like in a daze for the next couple weeks afterward, and then you forget what a huge beating it is until it happens again. Remember, it sucks. You get confused. There are people calling you that you shouldn't be talking to. Fly-by-night lawyers, insurance agents trying to get you to – it's like you're under investigation by the police. Don't deal with any of that. Yeah, that's not your job. That's the Frankel's job. Yeah. They'll take care of you.
Call immediately if you get in a wreck, 214 or 817, then all threes, 333-333.
Isn't it bad enough that you were in a wreck? Make it as smooth as possible with the Frankels.
The case starts building against you
the
second the airbag deploys. So unless you are seriously injured, that would be my first call.
That's right. You're going to talk to Mark, Scott, or Gene, and
tell you what to do.
They'll tell you what to do.
The Dumb
Thanks,
Zone
Frankels.
presents Today
Great notepad,
in
too.
History.
If you ever got to go away for a month, take one of their notepads.
They'll be in my heart forever.
Let's see.
Jake's diary.
Today is Monday, October 14th. On this day in 1947, U.S. Air Force Captain Chuck Yeager became the first pilot to break the sound barrier. That was 1947. In 2012, so 1947, Air Force Captain Chuck Yeager. 2012, 65 years later, 89-year-old Air Force Brigadier General Chuck Yeager went through the sound barrier again, this time as a passenger.
Still, though, dude.
They kind of strapped him in the back of an F-15.
How old? 89.
And he's 89.
Man, my equilibrium is a nightmare right now.
His head exploded within the helmet.
Like I won't even get on a roller coaster anymore. It's pointless.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been the biggest roller coaster guy, but I'm with you. I have trouble sometimes just standing up.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, whoa!
You lean over to pick up the dog poop.
Going on
you
here?
stand up, and you feel
dizzy.
like you just did a whip it.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Chuck Yeager at 89. What if his skin just, like, stayed, like, like it just got all, like he was next to a turbine.
Awesome. They sprayed, like, clear cement on his face, and it just stays that way.
Died at the age of 97.
Maybe you live longer if you go to space.
Well, I don't know if he went to space.
The
but
people on the
broke
Challenger
sound barrier.
might disagree with you.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple mishaps.
This day in 1987,
Yes,
Jessica.
I realized I just conflated the sound barrier with being in orbit.
That's all right. What's the difference?
Yeah.
But
On this day in 1987, Jessica McClure fell down a well. She was 18 months old. And then they ended up rescuing her, and I think...
How many days was it? Was it 3?
58-hour rescue. So, yeah.
Damn, dude.
That's a long time.
And she's
and I think
rich beyond her.
I think she got a bunch of money somehow from it, and I believe got into some bad investments and bits and had a bad marriage, and I don't know. It's a sad tale if you look into Jessica.
It really
McClure.
is. I change and add to the story every year, but there is a kernel of truth in it. She did get married young, and I believe her
right when she got out.
Yeah, that's right. He was proposing to her
agent.
He was proposing to her in the when they were lifting her up in the basket.
Yeah.
She married a guy who she got divorced from. She had a lot of money, and I think this part I think is true. Had like a failed car wash business.
I feel like car wash is a thing.
And I think I put baseball cards in there every year because it just seems like the sort of thing.
Yeah, like he'd want to invest in that right when they went out of style.
Beanie Babies or something. Now,
And he bought lots of Doge when it was 50
Blake.
cents.
Do you think she has any of the POW mentality, even though it happened when she was only a year and a half old?
I'd like to find out.
Where you're like, you could be back in that well.
That's right. It's calling her all the time. She has to force herself not to dive down into that well. On this day in 1990, Joe Montana and Jerry Rice had record-setting performances in the 49ers win over the Falcons. Montana, career high of 476 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. 5 of those went to Jerry Rice, which makes me just think, what if? Imagine if those two played in a sling-it-around passing offense. The numbers they could have put up.
Yeah, no, I mean, you don't get those type of numbers from those guys that day without the 11 carries for 31 yards by Tom Rathman that he posted that afternoon.
On this day in 2011, the sudden departure occurs. An inexplicable simultaneous disappearance of 140 million people from the Earth. 2% of the world's population suddenly disappeared.
That one lady was...
3 years later, the TV series The Leftovers would start. This was the day, October 14th.
That's awesome.
Need to rewatch that.
Oh,
great show.
So good. I was so unsure about it after the first couple episodes, and I just grinded. And
I might go back.
It's so good.
Let's go back.
It's probably worth it.
Three seasons or 2? It's really short.
I think 3, but
yeah,
they knew what was up too. Like, this is the arc we want to tell. And I feel like him every morning when I don't smoke cigarettes, and I don't have a huge dick like him. But when I go run in the neighborhood, I'll leave my water bottle and my vape out like in the driveway.
How many steps you got today?
Today's an off day because I had to write this morning.
Yesterday?
Now this is the day I want to ask you.
Okay.
How many steps you got?
It's not going to be good.
Because I had a short walk today. I have 3,100.
At 2 o'clock today, I am at...
I had 14,000.
7,700.
That's good. I didn't do anything in the morning. I'm at like...
This is off day, and he's doubled me.
I'm at 2,000. I got 17 grand yesterday, bro.
But I just love how he used to...
Is this worse than fantasy talk?
Yes.
I don't participate in it
Step
past the
stop?
first time.
I love step stop.
I do love that the main character would go run, and literally when he got to his halfway point, he would just start smoking cigarettes before he ran back.
Dude, I went
like,
on a run last night, and I swear to God, there's a track by my house, and I made a lap, and there was a guy that was wearing fitness shoes and fitness pants, and he was Hispanic, and he was like clearly not traveling from one place to the other and just used a portion of this track. He was getting his workout in with a freaking Marlboro lit.
That's because he had to leave the house. His wife wouldn't let him smoke.
Yeah,
she
so
thinks he's quit.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and then he's got to dress up and do the whole bit and kind of go through with some of it.
I like that. I never thought about that. Okay. Well, he's going to go back home and reek. He's going to.
I don't know how people have pulled that off, but I had friends who would do that. Like, my parents don't know I smoke. I'm like, dude, I smell you driving by my house.
Yeah.
This one's for Rob, Video Man. You know, Rob was a X Games guy.
Mm-hmm.
Has done like thousands of parachute jumps. On this day in 2012, extreme athlete Felix Baumgartner did a 24-mile-high jump from a balloon. Officials said this made him the first skydiver to fall faster than the speed of sound.
Is this Red Bull?
And
okay. I thought he died, but I was wrong.
Is this a little video of it?
Yeah, he like live streamed.
Started
this.
out almost like in space.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He was like, he actually stood on the moon and then jumped off it. 24 miles up.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that's wild.
And
like Mission Control started celebrating when he landed safely.
Yeah. He didn't splat.
But then, yeah, what would their reaction be? Like, yeah.
You guys.
Okay, well.
Burritos?
I guess he's dead. It didn't work.
Get the cleanup crew. And on this day in 2015, mentioned this at the beginning of the program, Jose Bautista bat flip game.
Joey Bats.
Game 5 of the ALDS. The Rangers lose to the Blue Jays. They're unruly foreign fans are pouring beers on babies. And that would lead to Rugi Odor eventually punching Jose Bautista. And then eventually, Rugi Odor would be in prison with my neighbor's sister.
You know, I come from the bad radio school of kind of overestimating your own importance in the world. So I still remain steadfast that Bob and Dan caused that punch to happen. Blake might have been there. If it wasn't you, it was Killer.
You were there.
I was definitely there.
We were interviewing Bautista. Rugi.
Rugi. And he...
It was like days before.
He hated Bob so much that he took it out on Bautista?
Yeah, it was either that or it was the series was about to start with them. Or they were coming in that weekend and they asked him about it and he was like, I'm not going to talk about that. And like he literally got like a faraway look. Like I'm about to fuck this dude up one way or another.
Glossy.
And then they waited until like the middle of the game on Sunday. Like, we're going to get these other two out of the way. And then the first chance I get, you're getting the two-piece.
It was great.
It was great. And then, as a Venezuelan was fighting, I don't know what Bautista is, but he played for Toronto. So as a Venezuelan guy's like fighting a, let's say like an El Salvadoran guy, the crowd, USA! USA!
It's like,
It was Texas versus Toronto, dude. You weren't there.
That's true. That's true.
I was. It was the greatest baseball game I've ever been to.
And then his career just went into the tank.
Yep.
He was never the same after that, man.
Nope. He had horses, though.
Jimmy Jackson, 54.
We got him.
Wesley Matthews, 38.
We had him.
I liked him.
We had him.
Yeah, it was a lot of fights.
Kind of a spare overall looking at his career today. A guy who averaged 10 points on you.
He had a couple good years at the right time, but
heavily overpaid by one team.
Yeah.
He was cool looking. He did the bow and arrow.
He's still in the league.
Shut up.
No.
Where?
He was as of last year.
Is it like the Lakers? Or
he has made $115 million. Wesley Matthews.
I remember when DeAndre Jordan bailed. I think Cuban said, you can go if you want.
He did.
He said, no, I'll stay. And you don't like him for that?
I have no... he was a fun player. He just made a lot of money and it wasn't that great.
Brandon Whedon, 41.
Man.
Lance Rensel, 81.
No pants Lance.
Is he the guy who exposed himself or something?
So my name was Lance. And how I got that nickname was...
Ron Wolfley, 62.
The Wolfman, the unbookable Wolfman.
The Arizona Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
Jared Goff, 30.
That's it?
Dude, he was like 21 his first year.
Wow.
That is insane. Is Dak older than Goff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least very close, yeah.
Screaming A. Smith, 57.
Happy birthday.
Jim Rome, 60.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
You're kidding. They're only 3 years apart? That surprises me.
Yeah, I would have thought Jim Rome was way older.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's been around a long time. Lori Petty, 61.
Great.
From Point Break.
That's her now.
Natalie Maines is 50.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Is she a Roseanne?
No.
Kind of.
I don't know. Holly Rowe, though. Someone added Holly Rowe to the Roseannes this weekend. I think that's spot on.
Spot on.
Yeah, Lori Petty.
Who's the next one?
Natalie Maines. Dixie Chicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The Chicks.
I met her on an airplane.
Oh, I know.
I walked
I know
right
what you're
by her
saying.
when she was in first class. I can tell that story again if you like.
I was waiting for the thing.
Nothing. I just said I was like, oh, hey, it's Natalie.
To be
Maines.
fair to him, he didn't
You
really
also said
sell it
met
like
her.
it was.
I don't think that's meaning someone.
No, I did. We said hi.
If you like look at them.
Dude, they're both country artists.
Yeah, come on, man.
They know. It's like Gaydar.
As he walks back to coach middle seat. And
Mm-hmm.
She's up in first class.
She had a hot boyfriend, too.
Nice.
And Usher is 46.
Man, he's had a stupid number of hits. I don't really like R&B.
How old is he?
That
46?
type of R&B, but he's
Are you more R?
He's gotten the ladies moving for
Or
the
B?
better part of 25 years now.
Can you have R without B?
Sure. I don't think you can have any music without R.
You probably need the R, unless you're Tool.
Then you have lots of R.
No, you just have everything being divided by 3.
Or prime numbers.
Yeah. Tool, the band that sounds like a math problem. Tool and Rush. Jesus, man, is there homework after this?
You said there'd be no tests.
I'm tired.
Born on this day, now dead, Dwight Eisenhower.
He's a general.
What's his bit?
The military-industrial complex. What a loser. That'll never take off.
Born in Denison.
Mm-hmm. They'd love to tell you about it, too.
For real?
What else are they going to do? Come on. You got a president. You're probably going to have to stay stoked on that. You're Denison.
They got a team?
Yellow Jackets.
I'll have to believe you. Born on this day, now dead, Lawrence Herkimer. He invented cheerleader pom-poms.
You guys should be holding something.
I guess. What'd they have before? Just like the megaphone?
I wonder. Well, he was born in 1925,
It's
so we got to
swords.
figure he's... Yeah. Nunchucks. They're all hurting themselves. Like, well, what
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like there's a softer way for us to go about this.
Anvils, that didn't
Yeah.
work. And born on this day, now dead, Dennis Hoff.
Oh, wow.
Think I was at dinner with... Well, we never ordered dinner.
Right. I believe he won election in Nevada in the county he lived in when he was dead.
What a freaking mess.
I think our whole voting process works probably great.
Yeah. It's just a dinner with you guys and 2 looted out 18-year-olds.
Didn't Lamar Odom almost die at his house?
Yeah. Yeah. We
Should
should, we should get Big Dick on.
Let's book Big Dick.
That'd be funny.
We've had Turley. I mean, the next logical step is. And then died on this day, still dead. I'll give you one that I think you might know. Captain Lou Albano.
He was in
This
the
is
wrestling
wrestler.
world, and he was in Cyndi Lauper's first music video. He was like a wrestling manager. He had the rubber bands.
I
in
know
his
what
beard.
he looks like, but that's way before my time.
Yeah,
man.
this is the 80s.
All right.
Yeah.
And that was Today in History.
No, that was great. That's what that was, Dan.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.